chair of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Motion to open the June 10th meeting. Because we have quorum with me on the board, we have Nina Edwards Anchor, Susan Stevenson, Jeff Broadleaf, Jane Clare, and our alternate Kathy Buxton with us tonight. Therefore, we have quorum. So motion to open the June 10th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, first thing on the agenda is minutes approval. We have two tonight from April 8th and May 13th. We approved March 25th at the last meeting, I believe. So did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from April the 8th?
Yes.
Are there
a
any,
while ago.
Yeah, any suggestions or changes? Yep. Okay. Motion to accept the minutes from April 8th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same question, May 13th. Did everybody receive the May 13th minutes and have a chance to read them?
Yes.
Any questions or comments? Okay. Motion to accept the minutes from May 13th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Which takes us next to written decisions. The first one is for 95 South Main Street. Do you want to give us a top line, Alice? Before you do that, let me also say, joining us tonight is our counsel, Alice Cooley. In person, our planning director, Alex Wallach. In the back, we have Jackie doing our recording secretary, and Sage on all things audio-visual. I forgot to announce that. So back to you, Counselor.
Okay, this was for the construction of driveway gates for a property that has a listed contributing structure in the historic district.
Did everybody have a chance, receive and have a chance to read the decision?
Yes.
Yep. Any questions or comments?
No.
Motion to approve the decision to accept the application for 95 South Main, the written decision for 95 South Main Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second one's for Hill Street Cinema LLC. Back to you, Counselor.
This is for a certificate of appropriateness for a landmark property that is not in the historic district. It is the movie theater, commercial structure, where they are proposing some exterior alterations and site alterations, including some changes to the marquee.
Did everyone receive and have a chance to read the written decision?
Yep.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, motion to approve the written decision for the COA for Hill Street Cinema LLC at 43 Hill Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have an adjournment request for 300 North Main Street. Motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment for 300 North Main Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Which takes us to sign permits. The first is carryover.
Actually, you had a bunch of adjournment requests. You had all the landmark
Yeah,
designations. Did you want to do those
Do you
now?
want to just do them all at the same time? Okay.
Yeah.
So going through, I'll just do all of them then. Motion to accept the applicant's request for 300 Main to, they're adjourning to June 24th. Motion to accept the adjournment request for Tina and Kareem Sami at 80 Wyandanch to June 24th.
I think that one might have already been adjourned.
I think
to
that one.
June
I think that one
24th.
was adjourned to the
Yeah.
24th. And motion to accept 185 Elm Street to adjournment to request for
I
adjournment to June 24th.
think that was also already adjourned.
Already
Sorry. Yeah.
So we only actually have that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So I don't need a motion.
Yeah. So I think it's just the landmarks that need to be adjourned.
That's all I need. Okay. Gone. Okay. And it's actually, whose request is it? Because we're actually the applicant.
Yeah, that's true. So the owners are requesting adjournments.
Right. I know there has been some concern about some requests they put for FOIA requests that have yet to be received by some of the applicants. So we feel that it's appropriate to give them more time to respond, waiting response from the village. So,
yeah, certainly.
So motion to request, chair's request for an adjournment for 1820 Meadow Lane to August 12th, for 1360 Meadow Lane to August 12th, for 380 Barrons Lane to August 12th, and for 1880 Meadow Lane to September 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Did I get them all covered for you?
Yeah, and then I actually have another written decision.
Okay.
If you can indulge me.
We will indulge you. This is actually, we've had discussions about Colette signage. I believe this is the written decision for Colette. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I received a call from Colette's counsel. I guess they had some confusion about whether there was a written decision previously. And so what I had offered is that I would write a written decision going forward, which is not something that the board normally does. So I think this written decision will kind of dispel what had previously happened. So this is a written decision for a sign permit under Code Section 11613 for 1 Main Street. The owner applied to the board for a sign design approval for 2 wall signs and awnings. The present application is for 2 wall-mounted signs, both the color imitation gold with polished pin-mounted aluminum letters on a white painted background of the building, with 1 proposed to be located over the front door accompanied by the Colette logo, and 1 proposed to be located over the side door stating Colette Home. The proposed awnings are 41 inches by 67 inches black awnings with imitation gold block letters, and with a large 20-inch logo also in imitation gold. The applicant originally sought this identical relief from the board on May 17, 2023, wherein the board articulated that the sign and awnings did not meet the design criteria set forth in Southampton Village Code Section 116-13H, as the design guidelines strongly encourage the use of muted earth and matte tones and discourage the use of metallic colors, and therefore the gold lettering proposed by the applicant did not comply. The applicant then revised the application, and the board approved a sign design for this application at this location on or around June 1st, 2023. The 2023 approved wall-mounted signs were both black pin-mounted aluminum letters on white painted background of the building proposed, with 1 proposed to be located over the front door accompanied by the Colette logo, and the 1 proposed to be located over the side door stating Colette Home. The approved awnings were 2 feet by 8 inches by 5 feet 7 inches white awnings with black block letters. A subsequent modification request to change the awning fabric to black was approved, but no request was made to change the lettering color. Instead of installing the approved signs and awnings, the applicant installed the signs and awnings that they originally applied for that the board said they did not comply with the code. After receiving violations for the offending signs, the applicant made the within application for the signs as installed, which are the same signs as those the applicant had originally applied for on May 17, 2023, which were rejected by the board, and the applicant subsequently withdrew and are now the subject of the instant application. The board informed the applicant that the applications for as-built construction are viewed by the board in the same way that a typical application is viewed. The board views the application as proposed work with neither deference for the work because it is constructed, nor with the intent to punish an applicant for working without approval. The board analyzed the standards set forth in 116-13H of the Southampton Village Code Design Guidelines. Color: in selecting principal colors for a sign, colors which are in harmony with the general tone of the building should be chosen. The use of neon, metallic, or day glow type colors are discouraged, and the use of muted and earth tones with a matte finish are strongly encouraged. Materials: sign materials should be consistent with and complement the original construction materials and architectural style of the building which they are to be displayed. Lettering: lettering style should complement the style and period of the building on which they appear. Consistent with this provision of the code, the applicant rejected the gold lettering depicted on both the wall signs and the awnings, as both are not in harmony with the general tone of the important historic building upon which they are erected, and not in harmony with the village itself. The board further found that the lettering in the sign over the south-facing door is too wide and out of scale with the building. The board also indicated that the large logos depicted on the awnings are not only out of scale, but were not permitted by code under 116-13C, 3D, and E. The board finds that the wall signs and awnings do not meet the design criteria set forth in 116-13H. Happy to add anything or modify as you see fit.
No, in fact, as you were reading that, Alice, I was just looking at the sign codes and talking about the awnings in particular, and you quoted it accurately,
Okay.
not surprisingly.
So if that sounds good to you and you're ready to adopt that tonight, then
So we're going to adopt a written decision to deny the application.
yes, this is to deny.
Okay. So motion to accept the written decision to deny the application for Colette signage and awnings. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you do
Okay.
a person vote?
What?
Oh, no, it's just signage. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So now that that takes us to signage, do we have Hill Street Cinema? What was the,
That's a,
No, so that was subsumed into the COA.
that was subsumed into what we've already
Yeah.
voted?
So, by
Okay.
the way, I'm going to sign this denied as of this date.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So that takes us to new matters signage, and for a minute here, I'm going to turn it over to the signage committee.
Okay. That be us. Okay. All right. I'll sign this later on so as not to delay things. Okay. Let's get that over there. Okay. So on the signs, we have in order, Steve Madden, 95 Main Street. Jane, my co-member on the sign subcommittee, she and I agree and approve what was submitted, so that's okay. It doesn't have to come before the full board. The next one is Mascot, I believe.
1 second. Do you want individual approvals on these?
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
I mean, if the whole board is approving them, then yeah.
Okay.
So then,
Motion to,
going.
okay, so I would move that the board approve the application of Steve Madden at 95 Main Street for awning and walls as submitted.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so that's okay. Okay, Mascot, that's at 63 Main Street. They are seeking a valance in awning and window decals. And I think for that is the applicant here.
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
great. I'll let the chair to take over and he can conduct that.
You can run it. Yeah, if you want to come up and just present it to the board, that'd be great.
How you guys doing? Jerry Smith from Fisher Science. I have, just use that mic for me. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
And,
It's probably easier if you just sit down. The mic can pick you up better,
and
No
turn
problem.
the papers facing us oddly.
and then the camera can pick them up.
Facing you guys.
Yeah, not
If,
you.
if if your paperwork signs face us, it gets picked up on the camera and the public can see it
Got
right
it.
side up.
Spread
Camera's
them out
not
for everybody?
showing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
there's nothing over here.
And Jerry, as there are 3 applications, can you separate them and then this way the board can comment, I would assume, on all of them collectively or individually?
So Ron Fisher was originally dealing with this application, and he couldn't make it tonight, so he sent me instead, and I thought I was just getting colors approved for the one
That's a-
application for the sign.
You can just probably just try to do it.
No, absolutely.
How about that?
Okay.
I have a question.
Is your TV
Are
not on?
screens not working over here? Thanks.
So let's,
It's over there.
So,
Yeah, which is really hard to see from my angle.
let's,
well, maybe he can,
I'm sorry, what's your first, Jerry?
Jerry, yes.
Jerry. Jerry, why don't we do this in order? So let's start with the wall sign.
Sure. So the overhead wall sign, 20 and a half inches tall by 48
You want to put
wide.
that down on the table if
It's
you
on-
have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, right here.
Now, that's different than what was submitted. Here's what we have submitted.
So that was
Black lettering on a yellow background.
correct. So that was the original, and it was changed to the black background with yellow letters.
Was that change submitted to the village?
Yes, should have.
Okay, it's not in the file, but that's okay. We'll
Okay, let's just
see
take a
here
look.
now.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that, folks, or do you want to go through the 3?
Go through the 3 different signs. I don't. We can just look at it all this day. I think the way
All
the
right,
public
so-
would.
That's the overhead sign there, 20 and a half inches by 48. Matches the size of the neighbor's sign. Colors are here, which is black and PMS color 109C. Then the window lettering is going to be the same yellow, and we have that scaled at 8.77 tall by 58 inches wide. And then the last is going to be the black overhead awning with the 63s on there with the yellows that match as well.
So that's just the only thing up there is the address.
Correct.
So when we first saw this in yellow, it was more of an issue than it is now, but it's still an issue. So as Alice was reciting in her determination in the prior code, the code actually says it discourages the use of bright colors, neon and day glow type colors. That yellow appears to me as being as close to neon and day glow as I've seen, and particularly against a black background. You'll notice that on most of the wall signs on Main Street, that they're either a solid color, a muted color, black perhaps, pewter, blue or something like that against a white background. So if it were just black letters against the white background, and
Or white letters against a black background.
Or even then, it's such a short, see the size of it? Me with this sort of mingy. Look. You know what I mean? What good is that? That doesn't look right.
I think to be
On white.
To be kind of fair, that's actually the dimensions of their corporate logo.
to be
That's
harmonious, to be harmonious with the other shops, I would think that just black pin lettering against the white background, and then the use of the yellow as accents on the window and the numbers on the awning would be more harmonious to those row of stores.
I would be fine with that.
Now, is this color is fairly close to a golden pear?
Well, what occurred with the golden pear and what might be
We
on
went through this a
Colette's-
long time ago. The
We're
golden
not
pear is
doing
actually pre-existing non-conforming because it was put in years before the actual design guidelines standards were set in.
Yeah.
So it's actually a pre-existing non-conforming situation.
Got it. Now, would you guys be open? I have my Pantone chart here. Would you be open to a yellow if I toned it down a couple of shades?
I don't.
And sort of muted it so that they could keep the same look that matches the other 13 stores that they have.
If you go up and down that street, I don't think you're going to find whether it's a muted yellow or buff or anything like that it's going to be any less or any more harmonious than what you're proposing.
I agree that it should be black. I don't know why black letters on the white, whatever is there already, and then the yellow on the window and the awning, which is black, seems to be, to me, a better look. The black sign is kind of short. Then you have a big black awning. I don't think it's good looking.
Whether it's good looking or not, my concern is more harmony.
Well, it's not harmonious for the
about
black
that.
signs, but I mean,
Well,
also.
exactly.
I'm looking at your Upper West Side sign, and you have eyeglasses on either side of the sign. So I don't know if that's necessarily the sign that, like this has a much larger sign.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't have to be cut so short on either side.
So
What's
what was the
harmonious to me is
Right.
what I see on the street, and it's plain black or simple color lettering against the white wall. You have a beautiful black awning that's going to be very distinctive. You've got accent colors on the window that are very distinctive. I think you've got a smart look with just having, and in fact, the black letters against the white will stand out.
All right, so let me
Talk to your client.
bring this back, talk to the client, and try to revise that
So-
overhead sign.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
All right,
great. Thank you.
no problem.
Okay.
Could I just say, is there a way, if he brings it in the sign committee, we have to come before the whole board, Alice?
No, if he finds a way the sign committee
If
feels
he does
appropriate,
what we
we'll
said.
try to move it along.
Okay,
Great. That would
Great.
be awesome.
So
Thank you.
the whole point of the sign committee is try to move some
I
of these
know
along.
that,
Yeah.
that's why I said that.
We want to
Just
help the
thought we should
businesses.
tell him too.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, so, and we can give you very quick turnaround. It's
Okay.
just a matter of, a day or two within the building department.
You got it.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next on the list was hire as an HIRE society for a second-story window sign, 30 Main Street. And the sign committee approved that, so.
Okay.
I thought it looked great.
Jerry, you're okay
Good
with
to go on
that?
that one?
You're good to go?
All right, thank you,
We'll
guys.
sign off on that.
Motion to approve the sign
Oh,
as
sorry.
submitted for Higher Society at 30 Main Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then we get on to Main Street Market at 70 Main Street for both an awning and then further down the list, a wall sign. So if the applicant is here, is that you too, Jerry, or is that somebody else?
No.
There we go.
Hello. Well, thank
Good.
you.
Harry with Hampton Signs.
Hello, Harry.
All right.
Okay. If you could turn around and just have them face us, the pictures.
It is.
Yeah, I was good.
We just have to,
There it is. Everybody's there.
Okay, sign committee.
there we go.
Your thoughts?
Let's see. Well, actually, the only one I have in the file here is for the sign. So you also have one, Harry, for the awning? Okay.
We're actually not doing the autumn.
Oh, okay,
Right.
somebody else is doing the
Yes.
awning? Okay. All right, so then let's talk about the sign.
Talk about the sign.
Harry, you want to just share with us and the board the colors, and is it replacing the sign that's there in the same dimensions and the like?
Yes, it's a replacement that's there, and then, as you can see, it's 24 by 168. And it's going to be on painted PVC with 3D lettering, acrylic letters. And we gave you a sample of the color. Submitted already.
Okay. You want to take a look, folks?
So it's white on a kind of bluish gray?
Yeah, it's called
Here, look at this.
Bucksland Blue.
One of the issues from the submission, we couldn't actually tell where the sign was, and we've since discovered that it's replacing the existing sign. Okay. And I don't know about you folks, but my only issue would be with the
Thing.
that circle Jack's Coffee.
I like Jack's Coffee.
I
As a matter of
know.
fact,
But
it's
I
not-
think it takes away
It
from.
looks like an advertisement on the
Yeah,
sign.
I think it'd be
So,
nicer without, huh?
It feels like if you lost the Jack's logo piece and just did Main Street Market in the white against this pretty blue, it sounds like you have approval.
Okay.
Although I wanted to say that the blue seems to get lost with the roof, which is sort of a verdigris green. And I just thought you weren't doing yourselves any favors by having the blue next to the green roof.
Yeah, it's the client who's wanted the blue.
I kind of
Yeah.
like it that it doesn't
It's kind of it's
come
subtle,
out
but
at you. It's pretty big, that sign,
It is big.
okay? White letters always work.
Now, the one that was there before, they're
I saw them
replacing the
taking it
existing
down.
sign.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that existing sign was conforming. I haven't even checked.
no one here would have knowledge on that.
It was big, two guys on two ladders. Well, don't we have the dimensions?
The dimensions are there.
Yeah, it's the
Do
same
we
size as
know-
existing.
Did the building inspector inspect the sign for its size and dimensions?
If they did, they should have. It should be signed on the first page, which says building inspector on the application form on the bottom left.
And it is.
Okay,
There
Okay.
you go.
Sounds to me like if we lose the advertisement for Jack's Coffee and just go with the lettering of Main Street Market, it sounds like that's the,
But Harry, without increasing the font size. Okay,
Yeah,
so
just-
in other
just
words,
spread it out
don't
across
fill
the
up,
front,
I mean,
yeah.
center it if you
I was
wish,
going to say that.
yeah, just center it.
but not
We'll center
increasing
it.
the font
Okay.
size.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
I don't think
so
we would anyways because
No,
it's not
I-
gonna look
okay,
don't
to,
have room.
to try to help move you along, if you'll agree to do that, and then just, you can email it into the village, an
Okay.
updated file,
All right.
then I'll sign the updated file when I'm signing.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
The
Okay.
board could approve that with that condition.
Yeah, we're
and
going
then
to.
If you provide a hard copy,
Yeah.
we'll have that signed.
okay. So I move that we approve the sign application of what do we got here?
Main Street
Main
Market.
Street.
Main
Market.
Street Market with the condition that I don't know what the hell you call it.
Jack's logo.
Jack's logo be removed, the font remain the same size, and that the lettering be centered on the sign. Turn it over to you to.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
If you'll send that in, then I'll sign it, but at least we'll try to move you along. Okay?
Okay.
no,
And I think there's also an awning on this thing.
There is, but Harry says.
Harry's not the awning guy.
He's not
not
the
doing
awning
it.
guy. He doesn't do
Yeah.
awnings. Right, Harry?
Nope.
They have a different
So
awning
what are we gonna
supplier.
do? And we're not gonna do it? Well,
Well, I don't know, maybe there is,
Maybe we could
Well,
do the
let's-
awning.
is there an awning doctor in the audience?
Nope.
Is the awning exactly like, does it have Jack's Coffee on it, or it just says?
Well, I think one of the issues with the awning, which I couldn't tell, but it almost looked like the logo was on the awning.
No,
Well,
which
that's
is-
no good.
well, that wouldn't,
Because
that's
it's
not
only-
code
Never mind
compli-
then.
that's not
So,
code
anyway,
compliant.
we can't vote on the awning, so
Okay.
I don't have the
Okay.
submission unless it's here in the file, Mr. Alex.
The, should be. I would
Well, it
think.
should be. I'm gonna give this over to you. If you have better luck finding it,
What's underneath? That's just the signage?
we have
No.
the Colette's thing here. We've
To your
got,
right.
this is
Yeah.
the mascot.
Oh, that's right, sorry. Okay, well, that's too bad.
That's not attached to the other one?
I didn't see it.
Hmm.
I didn't see it
Here,
when I looked at the
give
folder.
it a-
All right.
Give it a
I'll
try.
try and track it down.
Okay. All right, not a big
It's
deal.
exciting to see so many people
Okay.
coming in. Budaberry.
Okay,
That's me
Budaberry.
too.
Uh,
So we're
Harry,
doing a sign on the back door, on the back of the building, in the front of the building.
here's the Budaberry one.
We're all excited about Budaberry. Yeah,
Very
keep
good.
going. It's gonna
Harry,
cause a traffic jam.
Children everywhere excited
why
about
don't you
Budaberry.
show everybody what it is you plan on doing? And at the time, we didn't have the color, wasn't specified, so that was part of the problem, right, Jane?
Right, but it was also the color of the awning, which he's not doing the awning.
You're not
What?
doing the awning on that one either, Harry?
Oh,
Harry doesn't do
Look,
awnings.
this is
I
what,
thought-
this awning, we didn't know the color of.
it's a plain
Yeah, oh,
one. That
boy.
is the color. They
That's,
put a fabric sample, right?
No, there's no fabric.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, there
yeah,
is.
yeah. But the picture doesn't do it justice, but
I think the color is pretty.
on the
Yeah.
awning, okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think the two work together. It looks exactly like their location.
All right.
I wanna hold this up.
So Harry, why don't you show us the sign and then we can
Yeah.
vote on the awning.
Which one is the sign?
The sign is on the top here. And we actually made it a little smaller today because we found out the awning was gonna go underneath.
Oh, okay.
So it's, I think if you look in the file, it's a little smaller than because of space
So
up on top.
which of the measurements, I've got one here that says 23 by 100, which
Yeah,
one?
no, it's going down to 18 by 100.
18
So
by
it's narrower.
100.
It's not as tall.
Okay. Yeah, they got to make room for the
By
awning.
100, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the decal on the window,
That's the back. Oh, yeah, there's a decal on the window. Oh, there's a sign that they had it.
No,
There was a decal in there, right? In that file, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. In those pages.
okay. So here's, we've got a front sign that's,
Yeah.
you now say it's
It's
18
just
by
narrow,
100. And do we have the color?
Maybe they, did you with?
And
they
then we have a
withdrew?
vinyl decal, that's 12 by 18. Is that for the front or the back? Or that's the front door, I would guess.
I'm lost on that one.
I thought
that
it was on the
information.
front I thought it said front window. I
It
was
says
wondering.
door decal printed.
Oh,
Okay, door.
Vinyl decal
Okay,
For the door.
for the
Okay.
front door.
Okay,
it's
Okay.
not very big, right?
It's 12 by 18.
yes.
Okay. And then you have an awning. And then you have a back door sign.
But what's
Back door
this,
sign,
this decal here?
That's the yogurt.
That's the outdoor sign, isn't it?
So in the
No,
back,
I don't know.
No.
This says acrylic lettering on.
What's this?
I can't see it from here.
okay.
Alex, can you?
So I was told that they would have a back door where they would actually sell ice cream out the back. So that's why that something has to do with that.
That'll kill the kids going down the wall.
No, it's in the parking, like at the back of La Parmigiana, you can go in. I think
Yeah.
that's the idea, which is not a bad one.
No.
Because otherwise, it's going to be chaos over there on Hampton Road.
This is, right, you're talking about this here where they want your signature? Or
No. Your next page there.
this one here? Yeah.
No, that's on,
Right?
that's
No,
on.
that's my stamp. Are there to the left? Is that just detail on the sides again? Is that a repeat or is that a different sign?
No, that's the existing, the one that we were gonna do on the back.
Okay, so that's just detail. That's just bigger detail on what that sign looks like.
Okay, on
Okay.
the back. I
All
got
right.
you.
All right.
Got you. Okay. All right, so.
Board
other than
members?
that, I don't think there's really much of an issue.
Yeah.
Now that we have the colors.
And it's smaller.
And Do we have Harry in here? The color, yeah, that seafoam green.
Yeah, he's got it.
Okay.
It's a sample.
I thought it was real summery and pretty.
All right, anybody have any issues?
No.
Then I'm going to motion we accept
Yeah.
the request for Budaberry at
I guess
26
the
Hampton
only-
Road as
The only
submitted.
thing that's missing is either the manufacturer, the paint manufacturer in the code or the PMS color on the lettering.
Well, he's gonna know that. He
I
knows.
know, he has to.
No, but is that, I
but
thought
we
it was
have
on
to-
there.
Oh,
So the PMS
Yeah, the
specified
PMS is on
orange.
there. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, it's on there.
Where the heck is it? All right, if you say it's here,
okay.
I'm with you. Oh, there you go. Okay, PMS specified. Okay,
Okay.
Harry, you good to go?
Okay,
All right.
motion to approve the sign as submitted for Budaberry with the narrow width as shown in this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same thing, if you just send me another version that shows the new dimension, that'd be great.
Then I'll
Okay.
sign that. Okay, so we got Budaberry. Okay.
Okay,
then,
Corey Anderson, 7 Hill Street.
Jane and I agreed on that, so that's
Okay.
good. If you want to make a motion to approve it.
You can make a motion.
Okay, I move that we approve the sign application of Corey Anderson, 7 Hill Street for a wall sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, that's okay. All right, the next is Tutto Il Giorno at 56 Nugent Street for a hanging exterior wall sign. Is that applicant here?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Sorry, is that you again?
that was fast, they never get to the table that
Wow,
quickly.
wow.
Okay,
Put 'em in order.
So, let me share with the board the following. That in the time I've been on the board, we have not approved blade signs on front-facing stores. And in fact, in the town of Southampton, blade signs are prohibited signs. We have on occasion, and I can't recall what they are, allowed blade signs in courtyards, but not on street-facing properties, because you could imagine what it would look like. Everybody would have a
Yeah,
blade
no.
sign. So, Harry, I would not support that. Board members, you have your own judgment. It's not explicitly prohibited from the code, but in all the years I've been here, we've never approved one. And in fact, that being the case,
First.
I would ask, well, you already did it, so I would ask the folks at the restaurant to take down the sign that is up.
No, we didn't do it.
Well, it's up there.
No, because I have bracket.
I don't know about, I'm not saying you did it,
Yeah.
Harry.
No, because the bracket's in my back room.
no, I think what he's
But-
saying is your
They
client,
were-
Too Tall General,
Oh.
has a blade sign that was never approved, so they should
Oh,
also
maybe
take that one
before us,
down.
yeah, but honestly,
We'll
Bill,
talk
I
to
have
code,
other
we can talk
parts
to
of
code
my
enforcement
shop,
about
yeah.
that. I think what you're hearing is there's not support for this blade sign, okay? Okay, so motion to deny the blade sign for Too Tall General at 56 Nugent Street, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, can we
Hey,
backtrack 1 second?
Sure.
Because it was just brought to my attention
It
that
sticks
Corey
out.
Anderson has a
Perpendicular to
mirrored
the
window
wall.
that you can't see in. So I just wanted to go back to that.
What? I can't see in what?
It was just brought to my attention that Corey Anderson Salon
Yeah.
has a mirrored window, so you can't see in. So the only way that you can see in are the top 4
Panes of
above
glass.
here. And I don't know if that's something that
Hmm.
we have a problem with.
Yeah, mirrored glass is not
Not part of the
It's-
sign application.
Yeah.
The question
It's
is,
not- part of a neighborhood feeling of being able to look into the
yeah,
storefront.
Right,
It's
yeah.
sort of aggressive signal.
Yeah, but we're talking about the sign.
yeah. So
What does that
that's-
have to,
So
It does.
the,
It's reflective.
It's not up to us. Okay.
the question
I mean,
is,
it might be up to the board and maybe that was not approved and maybe that's something for code enforcement to look at, but that's not part of the sign.
That's an architecture question, not a signage question.
Okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
so.
What about the bakery? Now, that's news to me.
So we can take a look at the file and see if that was ever approved.
Yes, okay. Alex, can you do that?
I will make it up.
Thank you.
And is
And
there
thank you
anything
for-
on this? I didn't see the bakery sign.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to
Do you have the,
Okay,
is there a
when-
bakery sign in there?
Are you Windmill Bakery?
No, sir.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you.
Did you
Can I-
submit, was it submitted to the,
Caroline, yes, I came in today and, and I dropped off the paperwork.
Sit down for me and
No one
introduce
saw it.
yourself on the.
Hi, I'm Caroline, yeah.
Okay.
I'm the owner of Windmill Lane Bakery, yes.
Cool, okay.
But the wall sign was
We
submitted
need a bakery.
today?
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay, well,
It's a
then we're
little
not going to
rushed.
consider it tonight because we haven't had a chance to really look at it.
Yeah, let's
So-
see.
It's
Is
pretty
this it?
standard.
Okay.
It's black and white, simple.
Yeah, it's, if this were to go before the sign committee now,
approve it.
you take a look at it on this sign committee
Yeah.
on my other half.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Are you replacing Yield Bakery?
Yes.
It's
And
gonna be tough.
is it,
Are you going to make those warm cinnamon buns that you get at
Oh.
8 o'clock in the morning?
is it painted on or
It would-
glazed?
Oh, so, go ahead.
Interior. Is that, it's acrylic plate?
It's acrylic plate, matte, black.
I would approve this.
Yeah, you folks want to take a peek?
For 1 second, we're trying to remember one right now. Oh. No, handsome.
Yeah, smart.
Good.
Okay, done.
I take
Thank
it back.
you so
We will look at it for you.
Thank
And
you.
motion
Just
to
remember
approve-
us.
motion to approve the signage for Windmill Lane Bakery, 15 Windmill Lane, as submitted, stamped June 10th.
Thank you so much.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So is your bakery open yet?
No, we'll be open by the end of the month.
Okay.
Okay, oh,
Okay,
so
good.
we shouldn't have been in a hurry, but that's okay.
Cinnamon
Good luck.
cinnamon buns. Thank you.
All right. We'll have to,
Okay.
I'm gonna give you this to put back
So
in the file.
that takes us
and
to
then
public
either-
hearings historic.
either
The
I
next
can-
two are
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jane.
The next two are adjourned, so that takes us to 214 Hill Street, Shabbat LLC at 218 Hill Street. I believe the applicant's here. Is he coming in? Thought I saw him. All right.
Good evening, board members.
Hello.
Hello? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Bill Slight. I'm the architect for the project at 218 Hill Street, Shabbat, Southampton. This is a continuing hearing. At the previous meeting, we requested that we reduce the size of the small balcony that is on the rear of the building. We've done that. The new size is 4.5 feet by 6 feet. Perhaps I can show you a plan of that.
If you would for the public, that'd be great.
Can you see that? Do I need to share?
Not yet. We see you right now.
Share your screen.
Or you see me?
So your principal changes on page A202.
That's A102.
202, I believe.
Okay, that shows in the plan. I think that's the principal way to look at it, but there's also
Yeah.
here you see it in the rear view. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. This is one side. This is the east side of the building and the south side. In this elevation, you see the front elevation, which is facing north, and also on this drawing is the side elevation facing west. So I go back to the plan view, which I believe is where the size of the
If I recall correctly, and
Mhm.
board members correct me if I'm wrong, I think the thing that was in question was the balcony, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which has now been reduced in size. So board members,
Yeah, also you may, in this particular drawing, we've shown the balcony and the finished space on the second floor in relationship to the various roof shapes that are projected over the footprint of the building.
board members?
to the elevation?
Yes, sir. The rear elevation,
The- Yeah, well, front first.
front first, okay.
I have no objections.
I still don't think, I'm not, everyone else seems to think it's okay. I don't, because I know that their houses are in the back there and on the side of the back.
Need anything?
How, can you go back to the back porch elevation and how many square feet it is? Again?
The elevation, is that correct?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
For comparison, here's Nina. For comparison, this list.
Yeah, well, significantly smaller than last week.
That's correct.
Yeah, I know it is, but I still think the whole idea of it is, but there's a noise factor to these, people go out on that.
Is it projecting out the same?
Not much.
It predicts now only 4.5 feet, previously it had been 6 feet.
So you brought it, it's narrower and you brought the thrust back to 4.5 feet.
That's right, yeah, we reduced it in both dimensions.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public? Okay. I think they brought it back. It's small. You could stand like 2 people on it. Well, I am going to motion to accept the application for 218 Hill Street with drawings dated June 3rd, 2024. Is there a second?
Is this for a written decision?
Oh, that's right. To move to written decision to accept the application for 218 Hill Street from drawings dated June 3rd, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Board.
Okay, so that moves us to new matters. The new matter is Landon Nordeman, 2011 Irrevocable Trust et al. At 251 Pond Lane.
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed, offices at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton, on behalf of the applicant. This is an application just seeking approval for demolition. I
Yeah,
believe agenda.
the agenda is incorrect.
Yeah. So this home is not a contributing structure. What we tried to do in filing this application is give as much historic information as we were able to pull, both from the surveyor's records and also from the building department file. So the application itself included in there a copy of the 1928 Sanborn map, showing that this property wasn't improved with a single-family home at the time. There was a garage in the northwest corner of the property. A copy of the subdivision map for when this property was created in 1959. Again, there was just a garage at the time in the northeast corner of the lot. And by 1980, there was a single-family home kind of centrally located within the property with an attached garage. In 1993, additions were added off to the north, south, east, and west. In 1995, we filed a survey showing that everything was completed. And by 2012, there were 2-story additions, a shed addition, and additional dormers that were added to the structure itself. We don't believe this structure has any historic significance. Obviously, we're here because it's in the historic district. But we did try and give you guys as much information as we could up front for this one. So,
Which we appreciate.
Yeah.
So is the garage that was the original structure on that lot still there, do you know?
I'm not aware of whether or not it is.
I don't think it is, I was just.
No.
When did you say the house was built?
We have records from 1980 as a single family home being on the property.
Well,
When it was subdivided in 59, there was a garage on the property.
Well, in 59, there was actually a residence, because it's marked in 59 as a residence.
Right, and it's interesting because the building department records are including a subdivision map, but then we get to, so we did go to Squires, which is wonderful, and asked them for any historic surveys they had. The 1980 survey was the furthest back they were able to give us with a single-family home on the property.
Okay.
According, there's an aerial image upstairs in the village hall from 1960 that appears to show the house, so we estimate it's between 1959 and 1960 that it was constructed.
Okay.
So, and that was attached to the one farther down toward the pond? Do you know?
It was at one point. It was part of the property.
Road,
Correct.
Secretary of State.
Yes.
Can we get
Fellow Hamilton College
if
alum.
it's more than 50 years old, do we need to get a historical?
Well, I would just like to do two things. Tell you where I'm coming from, and then we can talk about it. I think they're probably right, but it is listed on a Sanborn. There's two things I'd like to see. It's listed on the Sanborn, and it's also what is outlined in the Sanborn is now the same shape as Calder residence in 59. It's not, doesn't look like the residence that's there now, but because it is in the historic district, I would like to ask our historic to take a look at it. And the other thing, there's some really wonderful historic trees on this property. I would like to ask for an existing landscape plan. Because when we look at the the certificate of appropriateness for what you're asking, I would just like to understand what the vegetation is and the history of it. Because I know there are a couple of significant trees on this property, which we'd like to be aware of.
There's one enormous old tree that I know about.
We did hear from the neighbor just to the immediate east. He actually, I don't know if he's going to be on Zoom or not this evening. He had said that he didn't have an objection, just for the board to be aware.
Okay. I think two things, because it was on Sanborn, I'm not sure, it's called a residence here. I would just like to have an independent report on file so our files are complete from our end.
Okay.
And then if you could just execute an existing landscape plan.
I'll speak with the owner about
I think that would complete the file for us.
Okay.
Okay. Board members, any other comments?
No, that's good points.
Okay. So do you think a landscape plan can be done by the next meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So if you want to, and I'm sure you're a historic expert, I think the next meeting's 2 weeks out.
It's 2 weeks out.
So you want to push it into July?
Yeah, probably so. What's the first meeting in July date?
Beginning of July with the 4th of July, so just
No, that next meeting was the one after that.
the 7th?
July 8th.
July 8th?
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Does that work for you?
Uh-oh.
Yep, that's
Okay.
fine.
Are any comments from the public? Okay. Motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for Norderman 2111 Irrevocable Trust at 251 Pond Lane to July 8th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay,
Look for you
thank
then.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Make some notes. Okay, so that brings us to public hearings, non-historic character matters. The first one was 75 Down East Lane for Ma Old Town LLC or MA Old Town LLC for construction of a 2-story addition.
Good evening to the board.
Good evening.
My name is Frank Ochera. I represent.
My friend, you need to make that microphone your friend
Okay.
so the public can hear you.
Thanks for waiting. Well, good evening again to
Yes.
the board. My name is Frank Ochera. I represent with
Thomas O'Neill Builders.
Okay.
Maria Fiore, the owner. I guess we revised the plans to your comments. So
Okay.
the new set you should find a 3D version of the building.
Do you have the plan to present to the public?
Or maybe we just go to the 3D version first. So.
Okay.
The survey you see it best. The proposed part is what is colored here. The proposed new terrace is also colored blue in this case. So the extension is, as the surveyor indicated, is about 610 square feet. And to have a better understanding of the extension. We did this 3D version, and I want to stress the building and of course the extension is not visible from the street, neither to the neighbors.
We kind of don't care about that. We look at the structure.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So here you have an idea, basically,
What page are you on that you're referring to?
how if you approach the building and you see the existing garage building, this is the proposal now. And
Page
you wanted-
A9.
Last time we wanted to have an idea about what is existing, what stays, and what will be done new. Just see.
I'm going to ask you to pull that microphone closer to you, please.
We superimposed on the elevation the existing, so here you have an idea what is existing, which is the yellow and the blue is existing, and what is in the back is the proposed building.
Yellow is what's being demolished, blue is what's existing.
And remaining.
So basically, it's a future place. It should provide a future place for live and help for our 94-year-old physician, my father-in-law, who is, who then at some point needs help. So that is the idea of the extension. And he was serving the community for 50 years, basically. Now, at 94, it might be time that at some point we need someone to help.
So everything in white in the 3D rendering is the new?
That's fine.
Are you adding clapboard onto the brick building? The original house is brick?
The original main house is brick with the two extensions existing on the 70s. They are both in shingles in white, and that's what we propose. So the extension of the garage will be the same as the existing material. Shingles
Existing
white.
right now, the shingle does meet up the brick as existing right now.
So it's a plain Jane.
We're following the
Issue.
same thing into the next floor from what's existing.
Maybe it's just the rendering, but it seems like the new addition is almost larger than the existing brick structure, at least the northwest elevation.
Well, here you see the survey shows you exactly what is the extension. So probably a misreading because the existing garage building is there. So
This
you
part
see-
of the building comes out a little bit, it sets back, and then comes off of that.
it's really only the 610 square feet.
Okay, 610 square feet.
It does.
So,
But the garage is existing. I mean, that's, we just use the space.
so are you
above.
saying that what you're saying is
to-
you're adding a second floor to what is currently a one-story garage?
Exactly, correct.
And encasing that.
Yes. So we just lift up the existing roof of the garage to basically include a two-bedroom situation.
This is it where it meets against the brick, and it's just coming off that same one.
It stays in the same framework. We don't want to do anything new or like out of proportion, but of course, it's, it will be bigger, but you look at the neighbors, it's a totally different story what they have. They have terraces on the third floor. Both neighbors have terraces on the third floor.
There's a kind of guidance we follow where the addition to the house should seem subservient to the existing. So I'm
Which
just
it is.
wondering if you could lower the roof a tiny bit so that it becomes sort of
Not really. I mean, it should be also, the modern requirements of space also want that we have a space which is ample for the case. And I feel we make an indication that the roof line is lower than the main house and it's subsidized. I mean, it really wants to be smaller than the main house. That's the reason. But plans never can really show the full thing, but you see in the 3D version, and especially here, it doesn't it doesn't really show. You also can see an existing, you look at the existing here. This is how you approach the house. You hardly see the garage. And then the new situation will be basically the same. You hardly see the garage.
And how high are the ceilings in the garage, second floor?
Well, yeah, just a little bit above the minimum.
Oh,
I believe they're 8 to 10. It is on here.
Can see also in the elevation, since we need to remain on the trim of the main house, you cannot go really higher. So the windows have to stay second floor main house the same. And then to
Right.
provide roof space, it cannot be that much anyway.
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be that much necessarily.
Are you saying that the roof height of the extension is lower than the existing ridge height of the main structure?
Well, the top roof part of the main house is still at least 4 yards higher than,
4 feet.
4 feet higher than the.
Oh, so these elevations
You-
are not.
It looks like they're the same height. And
No, they're definitely not the same.
well, how can
I'm looking at
No,
this.
we're having trouble.
No, here, but
I'm
in the
looking
elevation-
at this.
Here, you can see it very clearly here. Yeah,
This is the top of the main house.
And this is the-
lower part of it.
This is the extension already.
Okay, we lost the screen. Oh, okay, there it's showing, but,
So it's
on the other
definitely lower. It's clearly lower.
yeah, you have to correct
it's
the
all-
other elevations, I
it's-
guess.
You know, it's not very far from the existing extension of the family.
Can you give those heights on the drawings? Is there a section now?
There is
Yeah, there's
11'2" they have to the ridge. So the,
And are all the windows in this house 1/1s?
Excuse me?
Are all the windows 1/1s?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no muntins in any windows, except for the doors.
Yeah.
What's that? A door.
That's a door. That's a door. That's a sliding door.
Well,
11'2" to the ridge.
And what is the
Page
exist,
22.
the main structure?
I think the most important part is that you keep the sill part the same of the main house, and then that
The
will stay
windows?
lower.
810 is the
No.
existing.
This trim, that this is, goes with the main house, and that this top is substantially lower than the main house, and those both conditions we keep. We
Yeah, no,
have to
that's, that I understand, it's just that that's not visible on a lot of the drawings.
Well, this
Yeah,
way,
it is all in one picture.
I mean, it's
I think
This one here, and
I-
it's shown here too. That
I'm agreeing with Nina that your drawings are not actually reflecting what you're telling us.
well, I don't, well, the drawings are.
Well, they're your
exact
drawings.
measure. If you see the drawings here, and we are,
Yeah, but then you put in some other ones. We can't just ignore what you brought in, sir.
well, these are the drawings which are presented, and the roof of the proposed is lower than the main house.
In that one drawing, but there's a
No,
series
all
of
drawings,
elevations.
well, the drawings are the same, no, very sorry. The drawings
I'm
are-
sorry,
Maybe the
you're,
contractor can point
We
out
can't
the
do it.
elevations where the heights are the same.
Yeah.
Which one did you not like that you said wasn't the same?
No,
well,
they are the
okay,
same.
if I look at page A09,
AO.
and look at your east-north elevation. Visually, in this picture, in this
So the 3D
rendering,
rendering isn't matching up to the
right, your 3D renderings are not matching up to your,
3D rendering shows it to be higher.
Well, this is a perspective. A perspective is
no,
always
it's not a
distorting.
perspective. Sir, it's not a perspective. If I'm looking across two ridge lines with the same height, it's not a perspective.
Well,
It's just either a bad rendering job, but at the end of the day, the renderings have to all match. So where all the pictures that look at the same house are the same house.
Well, I'm so very sorry, I have to disagree, because the rendering is the 3D perspective, and perspectives are
Okay,
following
but look
lines.
at A10
They
then.
still won't see it on paper before there's a
Look at A10.
Yeah, but it's an image. What
Well,
is
look at A10.
the facts are the elevations.
Yes, this is
These
elevation.
are
Yeah.
elevations.
A10. This one is showing the same height.
Well, this is the height which is taken over by the 3D images.
Okay, but can you turn to A10, please?
This one shows the same height.
The height is higher. It's not the same height as the main building.
This one does show the red brick is.
Now if I look at A11, if I look at A11,
The same.
Same thing, same page.
Yep.
It shows this red brick is 3 or 4 feet higher than the proposed garage.
so at the end of the day, your renderings and your drawings all have to match to where when we look at a total vision of what you're going to build, we totally understand it. So I hear what you're telling us, but the drawings as submitted don't reflect that. So you're going to have to go back to your whoever's doing your work, your rendering work, and have your renderings match the drawings to where everything syncs up.
So if we do that and we go with this where it does meet the top, is that considered too high? Because you guys said you might want to lower it.
Yes.
Would that
Yeah.
get approved?
I think that
if
would-
it is the
No.
same
I think-
height?
I think-
No, you want it to be
You're
lower.
telling us that it's not, and then we think that's fine. But then you're asking us if it's okay if it's the same, and we don't think that is okay.
So that's what I was asking.
Well,
Well, which
Have
is
to
it?
Change it to not be the same height.
But that's like, the height of a building that you're building is pretty important for us. We need
Yes,
to
of
know,
course.
and specifically.
Can you do me a favor and put the mic in front of you, please?
the heights presented in the elevation are the actual heights which will be which are reflected in the sections, the construction sections, which have been even calculated by the engineer. So the rendering then, I mean, this is up to now discussing it. You say you cannot see it. Maybe it's false. I haven't done the rendering myself, so it's a number play because the numbers are the elevation and the section in the section 1 to 20.
He needs you to talk into the mic. So here, at the end of the day, the renderings need to match the drawings. It all needs to be one package that's cohesive, that all matches. And right now, you don't have that. I think you understand what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's especially this picture.
Yeah.
Showing both will meet up at the same height.
Yeah.
We can't have that. This is the one that was.
A10 and A11.
These ones are fine. This one's not.
So let me ask this to be fair to these guys. Beyond roof height, which needs to be corrected, are there any other questions about fenestration, materials, color, location that also should be considered when they come back? Last time we had concerns about the window to wall ratio. We had concerns about, and some of it seems to have been addressed. Which is, are there any other questions that are in here that they should be considering since they're going to have to come back anyway?
What is the size of the terrace?
Terrace? The second floor terrace?
Yes.
Nine and a half by 2210. Goes out 9.5, and the width of the building 22. The width of the extension.
And just while I'm bringing this to your attention, if you look at page A10 and look at the detailing on that balcony, and then you pop yourself over to page A11 and look at the detailing on the balcony, they don't match.
Well,
This one shows
this is a
like
variation. You have two pages. This was a variation. We would like to present this, and the other one is just it had an add up to the terrace, and it had the stair inside had a window here. But this is just an alternative, and we would stick to this.
Oh, okay, so you're so A10 and A11 are an either or situation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Board members, let's give this some advice here. Let's help them. A10 versus A11. Anybody have an opinion?
Well, quite honestly, I'm so confused now. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at.
And there's, what's behind, so the terrace is off the back of the house, correct?
Yes.
What's behind there?
Here's the.
Like,
Here's
Well,
the.
there's the neighbor
Yeah.
Neighbor's terrace is 140 foot away, and the other's neighbors are not
That's
visible.
adjacent, but yeah, all the way in the back, you got a lot of property that's right to the next house.
Still.
2 acre property.
You cannot see any house from the building.
I guess the question is, board members, how do you feel about a terrace that large in the back of the house?
Well, this
I feel-
is being added on for health, you said?
Yes.
It seems very excessive size when this is.
Well, that's already, a big effort for 2 bedrooms to redo the garage and a lot of costs, Dr. Fiore is a physician who worked here for 5 decades, and so we wanted to do 2 bedrooms up on the garage. If this is not possible, and if the second floor terrace is not possible, we're just not gonna do the project.
That's your
Yeah.
choice.
Then he has no live-in help. We'll just forget about it.
So if he doesn't have an outdoor terrace, he doesn't have any live-in help?
No, but I think, the structure, the extension, also, we need some more space for equipment next to the garage downstairs. And then if we would cut that off, we wouldn't have that. And also the building would look awkwardly,
What-
cut off at the end.
So
So
are
the
you
building
not-
would be just too boxy. This terrace gives a nice, leeway to the open space.
What equipment are we talking about here?
Bicycles, garden equipment.
On the second floor?
No, on the
Inside
ground
the
floor,
garage,
next to the
Oh.
garage, because
underneath.
we have a new entrance. We have what the entrance is usually at the garage, through the garage.
So
right
you
now.
have sliding glass doors for the storage areas? Is that what you're saying?
We have the same doors as we have right now. We have sliding doors existing, but these are not sliding doors. The new one doors
Well,
are shown are just.
I'm sorry,
open.
why does your storage area have a bathroom?
Well, the people who work in the garden need to go to the bathroom, and they should not go in the house, maybe.
So I've got a storage room that has sliding glass doors on all 3 sides and a bathroom that you're calling a storage room.
Yeah, well, which we have today too, as well.
And then you're telling me that the rather larger than we have been improving balcony on the second floor, if you can't have that, you're just not going to do the extension. Is that what you're saying?
we lose even more space. We lose.
No, you could actually just make the depth of the terrace narrower. There's other things you can do.
Yeah, but we have an entrance, and we lose some space through the new entrance, and the
We
garage
usually
was
don't
much bigger
consider
before.
people's reasons. I mean, why
Okay.
are we getting into the
Yeah,
weeds on
okay.
this?
Okay,
Who
thank
cares?
All right.
Well, we just the base is we want 2 more bedrooms for live-in help
Yeah.
in the future, and that's the whole reason we do this thing, which is quite expensive to do anyway.
So anyway, expense, purpose are not our
It's
issue.
not our purview.
If you want to build it, build it. If you don't, you don't.
Well,
But
I think it's a
listen to me,
reasonable
listen to me
proposal.
for a second, Frank, okay? Because we're arguing about stuff that isn't germane to this board's decision making.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me architecturally, I think the balcony is okay, given the configuration of this property. It's 140 to 150 feet from either side. It's 200 feet deep. Architecturally, it does flow in. I don't care what you do, and I don't care whether you do the project or not. And you're digging yourself a hole the more you speak, all right? So, but architecturally, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Others?
I'd like to see better, I couldn't tell you. I think that a terrace, a balcony that big is too big.
Okay.
And actually, for 2 people, it's too big. How's that? I don't see the point of it.
Okay, so here's where I think you are. I think your renderings don't match your drawings. That has also to be corrected. I think there's a question of whether we think the depth of the balcony may be excessive. So you may want to think about if there's a way to make that slightly less deep. Those are 2 things you would need to take into consideration. And you think, and more importantly, whoever's ever doing your renderings needs to, when you're doing the renderings, they have to match the drawings. Everything has to look like one package. It can't look like, the renderings look like that, but the house actually looks like this. We don't work that way. Everything has to match. So,
You don't want it the same height as the existing, you want it lower.
no, we would like to be
correct.
subservient to the original structure, which apparently it is. It just doesn't show up in the drawings, but we can't sign off on drawings that don't reflect that. So, are there any questions from the public? So the question is, do you think you can be ready by the next meeting?
I don't know, we have to consult with the owner.
Okay. So would you like to adjourn to the next meeting, or would you like to wait a month?
July 7th.
8th? Eighth?
Well,
Yeah, then
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest you do is adjourn to the next meeting, 7th of July, 8th of July. And if you're not ready, tell us, and
Okay.
we'll go from there. But that's more fair to the owner, I think.
All right, fine.
All right. Motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment to July 8th is for.
second,
Hang on, not through with the motion yet.
Did we ask for public comment?
We did.
yes, you
For
did.
Down East Lane, it's 75 Down East Lane. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, that takes us to 79 Johnny Lane, Rosemary Herman at 79 Johnny Lane.
Was it Zoom?
No.
No.
I only have
It just gets more confusing.
I mean, Nina was right from the beginning, he just wasn't taking delivery on it.
I know that.
There was only.
And
These are the written decisions.
God bless him, he got to 94 before.
see,
God bless anybody who gets to 94 before they think about it.
that other
Yeah.
situation where the people, for their parents who were 95. So I don't think that.
Okay,
No. is
Ryan,
it-
you want to introduce
oh.
yourself?
Ryan Custom Architects.
Okay,
This is for 79 Johnny Lane, and I'm going to just share my screen so you can see the improvements that we made.
We have to, did we do a demo eval on this one?
I think last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
how did we do in the last one?
No? I thought we did it.
Yeah.
Let me just check my notes, please. Yes, we did.
All right,
Excellent. Am I good to proceed?
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
Great. So, again, Ryan Custom Architects, this is for 70.9 Johnny Lane. We presented it at the previous hearing, and we took your comments into consideration. One of the main comments was with regards to the 3 dormers we have here and 2 dormers here, which we have removed. We have also removed the column here and a column here to reduce this massing. And then we also used the village's flat roof rule to bring the massing down. If you remember previously, we were already up to the limit over here, so we dropped it about, let's call it 18, 20 inches, something like that right there. Then on the rear, we did the same thing with the columns, so we eliminated one there, one there. We reduced the penetration as well over here. And then we also provided a more ornate chimney over here. And as always, I like to keep it short and sweet with you guys, so I love your feedback.
What's the material of the more ornate chimney now?
It's all gonna be Danish blend brick, and then
Okay.
we'll top it with a clay pot or something like that.
You know, those are in England
and take, yes,
and maybe in Holland, I don't know.
I think Staffordshire, I think, where we figured out the English chimney pots were.
Right.
Would you take us just one more time to the siding material and trim color?
Siding material is gonna be natural cedar, trim is gonna be white.
Okay.
And windows are gonna be white.
Okay. Board members?
I think it's much better,
Yeah.
calmer. And dropping it down a little is good.
Yeah. I was good with everything until you got to the ornate
Yeah.
chimney. So, by definition, can you make them or non-ornate?
I'm actually,
Really, you like them?
step design, the chimney's fine, it's the chimney pot
Well,
that sort of
my-
takes it out of.
My issue, it's more than personal taste, because we make judgments in terms of what's harmonious or not. It's more a matter that this neighborhood, which had been mostly ranch houses, and still includes a lot of modest houses. The presence of an ornate, using your own words, Ryan, chimney is not harmonious in my view. So a flat chimney, a traditional chimney, would be more appropriate and harmonious.
Board members?
You'd rather not see any flues popping up, is that what you're telling me?
No.
Well, if that's what makes it ornate in your mind and in your words, yeah, less ornate.
Well, I'm trying to
Yes, a flat chimney.
work with you here.
Yes, without being cute, a flat chimney.
Okay.
That's me.
No, it's okay. Do you have a comment about the step brickwork on the chimney? Because if you're looking at the last plan and this plan, the last plan did not have step brickwork at the top of the chimney, and this one does.
Yeah.
And this one has step brickwork that then goes into chimney pots.
Yeah, well, that adds
So-
to
so-
it. So it's, yeah,
So just so we understand your comment.
a simpler straight chimney, I think, would be more harmonious with the houses in the neighborhood.
Wasn't that the comment on the previous hearing, was that it was too plain? And didn't we have somebody from the public come up and say that they would like to see it?
Yes.
We did.
So I'm a little confused here, so bear with me.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
that
let's
was
get- let's
Rob
get-
Coburn.
Yeah, let's get everybody.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody's comments. Other board members? Okay.
I'm willing to talk. I think I agree with having a simpler chimney. I could have the brickwork, but not both, but with the top. And I think you have improved it and made it somewhat less massive, if that's probably not very descriptive, but it's still a pretty big house. But it's much better, especially the dormers being removed.
I think what the board is saying in general too is just looking at historic references of what's typical of the neighborhood in terms of chimneys.
Yeah.
And is this,
That's a cut sheet for the lights.
yeah, and you also put in a tear sheet for lights?
Yes,
Remember
ma'am.
that? Okay. Are these dark sky?
Yep, it says it right in the top left corner, ma'am.
For some reason, oh, there it is. Thank you. I looked everywhere. I didn't see it. Okay.
Here's what from my opinion is one of the things that made the house look massive and actually top heavy were all the dormers. I think removing the dormers and lowering the height brings it down closer and brings it more in relationship, the first floor more in relationship to the earth and makes it look less overbuilt. I don't mind the step work on the chimney because I think it adds a detail that you do see in the village if the chimney pots were to disappear, because that's something we don't see. A lot of it are not sort of normal and harmonious with other areas that we've seen over there. That's sort of my opinion on it.
Okay.
Just one quick question. It seems like the outdoor lights that you drew on the elevations don't match your spec sheet.
I think we just put a regular block in there, but that's exactly this is the exact spec that we're using.
Right.
So it's just kind of like placeholders, I guess you could call them, but that's the right picture that we're going to go.
Okay. Jane, anything?
I just wanted to be reminded that the terrace there is not accessible? Is that,
Up here, no, this is not accessible right here, not at all.
Okay.
so are those doors or those windows?
No, there'll be windows, They'll be about the same height here, just we're gonna put the grills in to kind of accent the space in the middle.
Why have a railing if it's not accessible?
Architectural feature. Same as me.
Okay. All right. Do we have any comments from the public? Yeah, last time. All right. So here's what I'm sort of hearing. I am hearing that a little bit of adjustment to the chimneys And I'm hearing that if you could be a little more reflective of the type of light fixture in the rendering, I think that's what we need. I am comfortable approving it pending receipt of updated drawings.
Okay, we can do that, so we can update the light fixtures, make them like a flush sheet.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to motion. We have no.
So, may I ask a question?
Sure.
The original chimney that I had, you had a much smaller flue up here.
Right.
If I added that on here and got rid of this big guy, would that, and maybe get rid of this intermediate corbelling here, would that appease the board?
A previous version? What?
The original version.
No, I to be honest, so we're clear what we're going to do here, in my opinion. If you do the step work that I'm seeing on the chimney and just lose the chimney pots on the top of it, that's what I think works.
I
and
think
is
that's okay
harmonious.
too, because it's a little fancy, but not in a bad way.
Okay, so we'll get rid of.
Not in a foreign way, I would say.
Okay. So I'm going to motion that we accept the application for 79 Johnny Lane, pending receipt of drawings that update the chimney position and the front and the surface mounted light fixtures. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So as soon as you can get those into the village, they'll inform me, and then I'll review them, and then we can go from there.
Yes, sir, and I'll have them before your next hearing.
Great.
All right, thank you, board members.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us to 32 Moses Lane. I'm not going to try to pronounce. What? How are you pronouncing that? Amberjun?
Lucy.
Maybe it's an acronym.
Yeah, it must be an acronym. I'm thinking.
Oh,
but
what?
I don't want to butcher it, so I'm just going to call you over 32 Moses Lane.
I think I'll say this is the one where we did not vote on the demo evaluation.
Right. So we did not.
This is actually the one we asked for a historic evaluation of the house,
Do we have one?
which is pending.
Oh, we didn't receive it.
So we
Okay.
can't go forward.
Well, I'm going to say
Well, we're gonna hear from Lucy,
I'm
right?
going to say we should go ahead and review the plan. And we could approve it pending receipt of that if we don't receive it. But just to be fair to the applicant, I think the chances of it being a landmarkable house aren't strong. So let's at least look at what plans they have are to present.
CEO Liu, architect for 32 Moses. So first I start from the easy part. Start from the easy one is the pool equipment. And we're proposing to put it on the north side of the property. And we'll put it in the shed. And it's a 10 by 10 shed. And that's what we're proposing. That's the number one thing. Number two is the pool house. Last time Jane did raise the question, like why is the pool house not matching the main house? We looked at it and it's pretty hard to make it a gambrel because we have a height limit of 16 feet. So if it is gambrel, it will grow too high. So we really couldn't find another solution, but just like keep it a regular gable. And that's the pool house, and then it's also way in the back. I think maybe we have landscaping. Maybe people won't be bothered by it. And then it comes to the harder part. The harder part is the front elevation, where the board was asking about the eyebrow window. So the homeowner really still very, very much love their eyebrow window. And because the attic, that's the only window for the attic. So they're hoping they can still do it. And then, of course, they drove around and then we did find a lot of examples of houses with eyebrow windows. That's right on Moses, and this is cross street on South Roscoe, and Leo's Lane. this is White Street, and this is Posey. So it's quite a lot of example of eyebrows.
That's why I don't like it, because there's so many of them, but that's okay.
Well, they
The real question comes down this
didn't
house.
really like
The real
it.
question comes down this house, this design, and this location. Is it harmonious with its neighborhood or not? And that's really what, because I'm sure that there are other examples in other neighborhoods, but it's about this house, this question, this neighborhood.
Yeah,
So.
well, 35 Moses has a eyebrow, and then very close by is the Hosey Street. Hosey Street has a eyebrow too. This is where's Hosey? I'm looking upside down. This is Hosey. This one is the Dormer. And then there's this White Street, which is very, very close. And across the street, on the other side, the Roscoe section, that's the Adams Street.
Okay, but that's across here. Okay, let's
We're gonna
table that conversation for a minute.
Okay,
Let's
fine.
because I honestly don't think you're going to have support for your eyebrow window.
All right.
So, what other changes have you made?
Well, I did make changes, and then I have this is A5A, is just for comparison, but I did put in A5 with nothing. So if the board really think that's the way to go, we will just use this sheet. I'm just trying
I understand.
to present what they desire.
I understand, and that's heard loud and clear. Okay.
Very loudly. Yeah, it's a utilitarian is the attic window.
Were you with us with the? But it's not really. Were you with us with the last application where we had them take all the dormers down because we felt it made the house look top heavy and not harmonious with the neighborhood?
Which house was that?
When we just
Just now.
finished. Were you sitting over there? Yeah.
Johnny
I'm sort
Lane.
of feeling the same way, but
Okay.
board members.
Was that all this different?
That's all. That's the front. The front is just it's just a dormer here. This is the last submission. This is without the dormer. That's the comparison. So I did A5. A5 is a comparison of the front elevation with the eyebrow, without eyebrow. And then I also just did an A5 without the eyebrow.
Board members.
Susan, do you want to go first? All right, I'll go. So yes, styles change. Styles are overused sometimes. Styles become outdated, overused, and so eyebrow windows fall into that category. And in addition, you're taking what was a simple 4-square house that was harmonious and is harmonious and maybe historic in the neighborhood and replacing with something that gives the appearance of a 3rd-story house. So it makes it the scale and the mass much greater and grander than would be appropriate and harmonious. So that's a long way of saying the eyebrow windows would be a challenge to me. Additionally, gambrel roofs, the affectation of the curve. I think in the last meeting I might have been the only one who objected to that, but to me that's a stylistic affectation that's been overused in the village. And a straight gambrel, I think, would be more interesting and appealing, or at least more appealing to this eye, but that's me. Of concern architecturally also, on the rear elevation, is the window-to-wall ratio, which seems excessive. I think it's, if I had to eyeball it, it's over 50% windows, which in many of the municipalities and villages here on the East End would not even be approved. So I think there's a lot of window there, and I'd ask you to re-look at that.
Okay.
Well, I don't have much to add to that. I do think there's a huge amount of windows, big ones in the rear, first floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 8, 12.
I don't think that would contribute beneficially for the energy efficiency of the building unless those were facing south, so.
Or for the light, it's just too, and it's monotonous. I don't think, so I'm not down with that. And certainly the eyebrow window, I said in the beginning, it's a trope, it's done, you know. And it, in a neighborhood where the houses aren't so fancy. I mean, I think this house appears to be pretty fancy. It's curved parts. I don't know, what's at the top? Dentel, what is that?
Yeah, we have dental.
Dental, you know, those are. So, I didn't say no to the dental, but certainly I think it would be helpful to tone down the sort of, I don't know how else to explain it, decorative parts that make it distinctively out of place in the neighborhood, I would say. Even in the newer houses, it's not so fancy, which is why I like driving around there.
And by not so fancy, you mean it makes it disharmonious with its
Yeah.
neighbors. Okay.
And I'm of the mind that I'm a proponent of preservation and renovation rather than demolition and replacement. And I still feel like that 4 square could be added on to and renovated rather than demolished.
But it probably could be, but that's really not, unfortunately, what we're faced with is, that is their desire. So we're going to hear from the historic consultant, and then we'll make a decision of whether or not that house is a landmark. We would all like to preserve every house, but whether it's a landmark, well, that's sort of what the code tells us we can do. So then the question comes back, if that were to happen, and this were the house to replace, do you have suggestions what would make it more harmonious from what you're currently looking at?
I think it's very grand for the neighborhood. I think it could be toned down, as everyone had already mentioned.
Okay. I'm a bit of in agreement with Jeff. I think the curved lower lines on the second story gambrels is sort of a bit of part of history to make them look like they gained weight over time through existence, which they didn't because it's a new house. For me, exactly like the last house, when you take the big eyebrow window away, it brings the house back down close to earth. It doesn't feel so top heavy, and that feels to me makes it more harmonious with the neighborhood. Therefore, I couldn't really support the eyebrow window. I think Jeff's comment and several comments I've heard, I think you're overscaled. When I look at all the 4 gang windows on the first and second floor of the proposed east rear elevation, I just think the overall scale of it needs to be brought in. What size are those windows? Are they 9s?
These are doors.
Doors, are they 9s?
They're not windows.
Are they 9s?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think if we think about bringing the scale of those down, I think it will come more in balance with the house and be more normal to the sort of dimensional reality that we normally see in Southampton. And I think that any, I don't really see a big light pollution issue here so much, but I think that for the traditional style of the house, the number, scale, and size of the windows is more contemporizes what would normally be a more traditional scale. So I think I would like you to take a look at that. When we look at the window to wall ratio on the south elevation, I think that looks harmonious to me. And then when I look at page A6A, what are all these options we have here?
Yes, because last time you were talking about the dormers, so we're trying to. This is what's proposed, and then if I take it off, the roof is actually will be lower. So these windows has to be at this particular height. So that causes this door and the window don't line up. So my compromise would be not to do this dormer, but do a very shallow flat dormer so I can line them up. That's my suggestion to do.
Or What's the
I
height of those?
tried-
What are
I
the height?
tried.
What's the height of those doors on the second floor?
This is 8 because this window
They're
is
already
set
8.
at
Okay.
8.
Okay.
Let me
I'm
look
gonna ask Nina's opinion on that because I think
I actually don't mind the dip in height of the windows. Everything about the house is so symmetrical, and we're gonna reduce the glass area anyway. I
you like
would
the.
vote for the no dormer option and less glass and less scale.
Anybody has a scale? Because
I would agree with that.
remember the door.
But we're not going to draw it here in front of us. You're just going to take the comments and then you'll have to come
Yeah,
back and
I'm
make a
just
survey.
wondering if I answered it correctly or
Yeah.
not.
No.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But on so the no dormer option, still on the first floor, it's 3, are these exactly the same measurements, doors? 3 sets of 2 doors?
So
There are 3
No,
sets.
down,
There are 3
first
sets. There
floor.
are 3 sets of 4-panel sliders.
Yeah.
Mark was right. You know, we could lower these doors on the first floor. So I'm gonna just mark it.
Okay.
So if I have, thank you for the
That
scale.
might look a lot better.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's going to bring.
Yeah, then that would
it's going to bring
change.
it back
It's
into.
so contemporary
It's going to bring
looking.
it into the scale. I
Yeah.
think with the traditional
So,
size of the house.
If
Scale of
I
the house.
lower the door to here,
Okay, we're not going to.
We can't.
You're going to.
So-
You're going.
so-
We're going to tell you the
that way.
comments, and then you can come back. But we're not going to like draw it on site here. Okay.
No, I'm just wondering if this is the direction you're pointing me to.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Okay.
direction we're pointing with,
But
because when you bring them down in perspective, you're probably going to make them not quite as wide.
Okay.
So for perspective, then I think that's going to balance out the heavy window to wall ratio you have on that.
But I
on
think
that.
without designing it, I think Nina was talking about the no
The top.
dormer.
Nina's talked about the second floor.
Right.
We're talking, so there are 2 things now. Last time, nobody brought up the issue about the doors. So
Yep.
this is new to me, so
Yep.
I'm addressing that.
Yep.
And then,
To be
but
fair,
as-
fair, we gave a sort of quick pass last time because we knew we had to get a historic consultant on it. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I still didn't get a clear answer of how you think of the dormers.
We like the no dormer option.
Right.
So can I use something like this, like just like,
So then,
That
would
in
that
the
be the middle section of, are those doors above or windows?
yeah, I just want the doors all
So
lined
if
up
you
with
drop
this.
it to 8s from 10, right, in the middle, is that what you're gonna do?
So I just don't want it to drop so much that it won't line up, that's all. I
That's
just
what
want-
I'm thinking. Well, you're
Well,
good.
here's what I
Right.
think. I think when you go back and look at reducing the first floor door sizes, the second floor doors are going to get smaller a little bit or narrow to fall into line with them. So take a look at that. So the answer to your question is we like the no dormer option,
Yeah.
which is option 2. We usually don't like options. Option 2.
But this one, they don't line up though.
But we like
And-
that because
and I
it's less
think-
glass.
So maybe.
Less glass, and I think to Nina's point, the asymmetry of it actually looks better
It
than
does,
the
yeah.
all
Yeah.
glass.
A little rhythm.
So the whole first
may not
floor
agree,
would have
but-
rhythm, right?
I would also vote for getting rid of the, what do they call dental?
Me too, but I tried not to go there.
If it's not,
I thought it's,
I don't know.
it's okay.
Do you see dental on the street or in the
Oh,
neighborhood?
yes, and the
Okay.
30,
All right, well then keep it.
there's so many of them. I did
Okay.
a house down 57 has dental,
Okay.
and the house I brought over, that 45 has dental. There's so many houses, I felt like, you
Okay.
know, even that we think that it's out of fashion, all of these houses has dental. So
Okay, good. Keep the dental.
kind of,
Well, yes, there are a few examples in the village that have them. That doesn't mean they're good examples, but they're examples that have them. The question is, this house, do the dentals work on this house in this neighborhood? That's always the question. So it sounds like it's not the hill to die on, but people don't really love them. Because basically what you're hearing is, in this house, in this neighborhood, where it's a gentler street, when you fancify a house, it feels out of balance and out of scale and out of harmony to the neighbors to the left and right of it. And I think that's what you're hearing expressed, both in the size of the windows in the back, which you've addressed, and with the eyebrow window, which you've addressed. I think what they're asking you is to think about, do you need the curved walls? Because you're not getting a lot of support for that. And the question is, do you need the dentals? Or because as form follows function, they're just there for decoration, honestly. What would be more normal in other sections of village actually is fish scale shingle patterns or other fish shingle patterns in the top of it. But you can make that choice. But that's what you're hearing from the board. Okay. Are there any comments from the public? Okay. So does July 8th work for you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Does July 8th work for you?
If we could get a historic report, otherwise we'll be just like.
We'll get one by
get
then.
it, yeah.
We'll get it by then. I spoke today. We'll have it in the next few days. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Then motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment to July 8th for 32 Moses Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so that brings us to 11 Squabble Lane for construction of a 258 square foot first floor addition. A bunch of additions, actually. 11 Squabble Lane.
Is there anyone here for that?
Are they coming in?
This is now, this is.
What?
Anyone 11 Squabble Lane?
Didn't this happen once before? Oh, this is Frank Greenwald?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I think this originally
That's a little, you know,
March 19th.
okay, we're gonna move on then.
Okay.
Is there
Then
anything newer than March 19th?
let's move on then to 60 Corrigan Street.
Okay, that's adjourned.
To answer your question, Jane, no.
Okay.
So that could have come out of somewhere else.
60 Corrigan Street.
60 corner.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Still opposition
If you'll just pull the mic down and introduce yourself, please. I know. It's a little let's make a deal, but that's what we got.
Lori Fontana, Senior Associate, McDonough & Conroy Architects.
Great.
So I come back before you tonight with the comments addressed from last meeting. The overhangs and the returns were reduced by half. The columns were reduced down to 12-inch columns from 144. And the metal roof was removed on the front and will be cedar. The rear covered patio off the kitchen, we removed the railing. So it's just a covered area. There was issues from the neighbors concerned about it being used inappropriately. There was also comments about the pool equipment, which on the survey, you'll note that we reduced a 3-foot well for the pool equipment to reduce the sound. And the HVAC equipment, we are going to use the Dakin, which is only 53 dBAs to reduce the sound on the HVA system. And the house was moved back 20 feet further. I think that covered everything that was brought as a concern.
Okay. Do you have with you, and can you put up the updated renderings?
Sure.
Do you have that?
The dreaded dental moments.
No, it was the dental moldings were always there.
I'm talking about
Oh,
I'm talking about the last application.
Sorry.
Okay.
Also, of note, Jeff, you indicated a question last time, the chimney, and you were actually correct. There was a fireplace in the center of the house. So,
Oh, sorry, that was me.
sorry.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I do.
So the chimney was added. Please disregard that ugly orange pot that was not supposed to be there.
Your windows will be transparent, correct?
Correct.
Because they're showing reflective.
It's the rendering. I
Yeah,
apologize.
no, I get it.
Board members.
I agree with everything the neighbors say. One, the house should be back 30 to 20 feet, which you've already done, right? The old flowering tree should be preserved. The approximately 300 square foot deck on the second floor in the rear should have the railing removed and should not be accessible by door. Lighting and speakers should not be permitted on it. Number 4, because light pollution was not raised as an issue. So no flood or upturned lights.
No, we put in the spec sheets for the the recessed lighting.
Right, and then
Underneath.
not around the pool area either.
No, not that I'm aware of.
And then they request that the AC units would be below ground.
We did look into recessing the AC units, and the HVAC contractor did not recommend that we do that because it reduces airflow and can cause issues with the equipment. That's why we decided to go with the DACN, which is the 53 dBA versus like a 70, 77 for a normal air conditioner. So basically, a human person's voice is 65 dBAs. This is actually 53.
But it will be then, if it's not underground, surrounded by greenery?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I would question also the square footage, the footprint. It's just not, it's the biggest by far house on Corrigan Street, correct?
But the board doesn't regulate size.
Okay, well then that's the zoning, but proportionate in terms of harmonious with the rest of the houses on the street, it's out of scale.
Okay.
So I would ask you to look at that, the scale of the house, in proportion to the rest of the houses on the street in that neighborhood.
You could ask for a streetscape.
I would ask for a streetscape.
Okay.
Other board members?
I don't really have anything to add. I think it does, it's still got a kind of, it's not really, it's sort of a brutal approach, but it's improved. The size of it, I don't know what to think. Is this a double lot? Is it, or it's just the largest lot on the street? No?
I don't have the answer to that
Okay,
question.
thank you.
So, to Alice's point, our purview does not include size on a strictly numeric basis. However, scale and mass do. So I'm in agreement with Nina that a streetscape is appropriate. I think your advantage to the fact that you now have it back 73 feet versus 53 feet, which is comparable to lots 2 or 3 times the size. I don't know what the setback is in two acre areas, but I think it's 80 feet, something like that.
It's 80 feet.
Yeah, ours is 40.
Right.
They're in a 40 zone, then they've stepped it back.
Right.
Right.
So I think that helps, but seeing is believing. So to the extent that your streetscape with 2 or 3 houses on either side is proportionate and taking no liberties.
You mean as far as the distance off the property line?
Yeah,
and
yeah. So it's proportionate, and we can get a good sense of it.
So it may be difficult to get street views when there's so much foliage in front of the houses on some of the streets. So I'll do my best.
Yeah, and well, what folks do when they do those renderings, they eliminate the trees. So they do your best, and then if you can erase the trees to the extent one can, right?
Well, those are, so that would be with So if it's an existing house, it's not erasing trees with the renderings.
No,
it's-
but I mean, we've seen, Susan, over the years, streetscapes that.
I never know how people do it. Don't ask
Yeah.
So
me, okay?
normally
I
I've
can't
done
imagine how you
multiple
do it.
Yeah, yeah.
streetscapes, but in some of these houses, there's 20-foot privets that it's almost, I would have to go onto their property to do, I'll do the best that I can.
So didn't some people go, I don't know, they got records. I don't want to say how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
Our job is
wish
to
I
ask,
did.
honestly, our job is to ask for a
Okay.
streetscape, and their job is to figure out as much of a
I
streetscape
don't
as they can
know.
give us, bring it to take a look at it.
Okay.
There's different kinds.
So who would be able to direct someone to the different kinds?
I mean, that's my job to think.
Okay, good. Sorry, because I don't know.
All right, I think I'm sort of in agreement with what you're hearing. Some of the improvements you've made that you've listened to, I appreciate, but I think we're not quite there yet. Do we have any questions, comments from the public?
So,
No.
no.
Sir, if you come to the microphone and introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. Eric Raymond. I'm the neighbor. I have 50 Corrigan. I spoke on video last time. I appreciate your concerns. I submitted a letter on behalf of myself, the neighbor across the street, and the neighbor on the other side. I very much appreciate the changes that have been made. I do think the mass is still very large and very box-like. I'm not an architect. I don't know what to do with that. And I just want clarification. When you move the house back 73 feet, does that save the tree? That I just don't know where the tree is. Do you know?
I don't know the location of the tree.
The tree's in the front center. If you, by the way, a streetscape shouldn't be hard on that street. If you're talking streetscape on that street, the hedges aren't that high.
Well, they'll do what they can. Yeah.
Okay.
But
And maybe
I
look
think
into the tree distance.
Just from walking the property, I think it does. But I think it would be nice if you could do if they could give us a landscape plan of existing. And actually, if in the ground plan that you're providing, show us that tree and where it exists currently, so we understand the fate of that tree. Okay. Okay.
Yep. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you. Other neighbors? All right. So, you think you can be ready by July 8th?
I'm not sure.
Pardon? Oh, July 24th is next week. June 24th is the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the June 24th, just because of getting a landscape plan and a
Okay.
streetscape. So it's June 24th,
Yeah.
and what is the one after that?
July 8th.
July 8th.
Would you like us to adjourn to the 24th? And if you're not ready, we can just then adjourn it to the 8th, to be fair.
Please.
Just try to
Thank
move
you.
you along.
Yep.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Motion to accept the applicant's request at 60 Corrigan Street for an adjournment to June 24th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have adjournment. Okay, that takes us to new matters. The first one is 126 Meadowmere Lane for a demolition evaluation of existing dwelling and to construct a 5,270 square foot dwelling. Okay, introduce yourselves, please.
Good evening, board members. I'm Jay Andriassi, representing Perry Andriassi. We're builders and design firm. I have with me tonight John Van Velser, who is our architect, and Chase Andriassi, who's going to be doing showing you some of our samples for this proposed residence.
Okay.
We have the affidavits and they're in order.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I think the first order of business was the demolition.
Yep.
And as you can see by some of the pictures we put in your packets, that particular house, you've used the word harmonious a lot tonight, and I kind of like that because I believe in that. But this house has been added to over the years. Very little of it is harmonious to the neighborhood.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes.
Board members, the question here is, do we think there's anything about this house that would qualify for landmarking, or would we agree to not to agree to landmark this house?
Yes.
No, and I don't,
Yes.
there's nothing
Yeah.
to recommend it.
But I do always want to ask, how old is the original house?
Oh, it's just, it's been added onto so many.
I understand, I
Yeah.
just I still think it's an important issue.
I do not have that information with me.
Was it in the records at all?
I'll be happy to supply you.
This was the house that you can't see from the street.
Yeah, it's,
Unless you look down the
We
driveway.
can provide a
Yeah.
property card, that would be the.
Yeah.
You have that?
Is there a property?
Mid-70s.
No, I don't have those cards.
We don't have a full
Is
file
there
up
any
here,
point to
maybe.
this percent?
Okay.
They're telling mid-70s.
yeah, my guess in walking around it was mid-70s, judging by the window style structures and sort of some of the finished details on parts of the house. And there are many parts of the house. So while he's looking for that, why don't we turn to the house and then we'll come back to it,
Okay.
just to see if we have that information for Jane.
Okay. Do you not want me to talk to you about the proposed site?
Yes, you can talk to us about the
Okay.
proposed site and house now.
So I just want to point out that with regard to the landscaping around the perimeter of the property, as you can see here, can you bring this up?
No, do you have it with you to present?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right. There we go.
There we
Okay. So on Meadowmere Lane and Meadowmere Place, the green represents privet.
Mhm.
The yellow represents green giants. So what we're trying to do is keep the privet, the estate look, and then go with the green giant so that we have proper barrier between between us and the adjoining property owners. Just wanted to point that out to you.
The green giants are existing?
No, we'll be planting the green giants.
Okay, keep going.
I'd like to turn this over to John Van Velsen now.
Okay.
For the architect.
Cool. Oh, a subcommittee one.
I can show you.
Yeah, 74. Yeah.
74?
Yeah. Ooh, I did good.
Thank you, Alex.
So, excuse me, so what we're proposing to build would be a two-story brick veneer structure with a simulated slate roof. Pretty much what we tried to do on the front elevation, I think we were successful, is to try to balance the front elevation so it's completely symmetrical. Each wing separated by the center entranceway. The proposed house is roughly 5,500 square feet, 5,270 square feet with a 570 square foot attached garage. I guess I'd
Okay. You want to go through the elevations?
Okay, so basically the elevation, this is the front elevation of the house. What we're planning to do is there will be Marvin elevate windows, single windows.
And they're all casements?
All casements, yes, across the front of the house.
Okay.
The egress windows would be addressed on the sides of the house for any of the bedrooms that we have. The first floor is 10-foot high ceiling heights. Second floor would be 9-foot high ceiling heights. The two chimneys that we have on the front are just architectural features. They really would not be of any.
So the chimneys are fake?
Yeah, fake, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. So.
Okay. So much for form follows function. But go
There
ahead.
you go,
Go ahead.
exactly.
Okay.
The rear elevation, again, we have the center portion of the house is the living space that opens up to the rear of the house with pool area and whatnot. These would be lanai, would be retractable doors on the first floor in the center of the house, and then retractable doors over on the side of the house as well.
Okay.
I would point out one discrepancy in the elevation. These doors here should actually be 4 panels to match the ones in the center of the house.
Okay.
As shown on the elevations.
Okay. Board members.
You want to go first? No,
No,
okay.
no.
All right. So I have a question. You used the term brick veneer.
Yes.
Veneer could be like the desk you're sitting on, which is just a false layer.
That's right.
Or are you talking about actual brick against?
Actual brick, yes,
Good.
yes.
So it will be brick with grouting and the whole thing.
Brick with full brick with grouting, airspace, and 2x6 wall construction
Gotcha.
behind that.
Okay,
Yes.
good. And then you'll be painting it white?
Yes.
Okay.
And we do have samples.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hold on that.
Okay,
for a minute.
good, good. And you may allow it to weather, which is a very nice look as well. Chimneys, I think if you're gonna have them, use them. They balance the house. You know, if you have a chimney, I think I'd use it, but other than that, the design is pretty straightforward.
Yep. Jane?
I would like to see a landscaping plan going forward.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that the roof looks so shallow. Then there are dormers stuck into the shallow roof on the back, neither of which I don't know what to say other than I don't think it works.
Did you drive around the neighborhood?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to
From
have
what
to
I
tell
can
you,
see.
for what I don't often say, I think you have to start over. There's nothing about this house that I find design appropriate for Southampton. You start with the word harmonious, but there's nothing about this house that's harmonious with any other structure in this neighborhood. We're a community of, we're not a community of value engineered houses. We're a community of shingle houses and other materials of houses where good materials are put in, and this looks like a value engineered house. It looks like it belongs more in Beverly Hills than it belongs in Southampton. I think the roof height and ratio to the side wall is wrong. I think, I don't know of another, well, there probably are, but it's sort of a white brick contemporary house, and there's certainly not one in this neighborhood. And because we're a village of sort of honest design, the idea that you would show 2 chimneys that don't actually do anything but sit up there to be non-chimneys, it's just feels completely wrong.
Okay.
And it's not, frankly, I don't know if the spec house, it's also not what a customer would be looking for. I think the biggest thing I would tell you, it's completely designed disharmonious with that entire section of the village. So I would urge you, and we get around, the dormers in the back, I don't know why they're there, because by scale and location, they don't have relationship to this somewhat maybe quasi-contemporary-ish brick veneered house. There's just literally nothing about this house that I find harmonious with this neighborhood. And as matter of fact, I think it would detract from the neighborhood. I think you need to drive around and look at the forms. And I'm not saying that all houses have to be traditional, because they're not, and you're not in a historic district with this house. But I think there are traditional materials, traditional forms, and traditional methods that we have in Southampton, and I don't think this agrees with any of them.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I rather than go
You're right.
point by point, I don't say this very often, I think start over.
Yeah, okay, and this is our first shot at it.
Yeah.
We want
Yeah.
to come before the
Yeah.
board to
But
get your
literally,
reaction.
you've sat through these meetings, you see a lot of what we look at.
Yes.
And drive around the neighborhoods and look at the houses that are there, and the materials and the styles.
Right.
And they can be contemporary, and they can be traditional.
I understand.
But
Yeah. The brick house and slate roof was the desire of the
but
owner.
also you talk about, one thing you talk about harmonious,
It's
then
not
I've got a
real
fake,
slate
I've got a brick veneer house with a fake slate roof with chimneys that don't work. That's not Southampton at all.
Okay.
So I just urge you, please just start over. Are there any comments from the public?
Yeah, I want to just add a couple of things.
Yeah.
So I get it straight.
Yeah.
Is it the materials mainly? I mean, if we
I
came
think
in
it's-
and this
I think
house
it's-
had
no, it's
had
the
wood
shape.
siding, would that be better for you?
Nope. I think you need to look at the window to wall ratio. I think
Window
you
to
look.
wall.
I think you need to look at the entire house form, style, and shape. Need anything to add?
Yeah, there's a neighborhood typology. I think it would be a great start, as Mark suggested, to study and research the existing neighborhood typologies and yeah, fit in with what's existing and look at the site and the trees and the landscaping, and sort of start from what the site and the surroundings can inform the house with in terms of design as a starting point.
As far as the window to wall relationship, are you?
Have you read the
windows
design?
too large,
Have
or-
you read the design guidelines for the village?
Yes, I have.
Okay, because there's sort of recommended wall to window ratios in there. We're generally not a village of casement windows. Some of our contemporary houses do have them, but you know, this one's sort of running a ridge between those two, and it's either way is not working. So,
prefer double hung?
well, I prefer you to go back and design a house that's more harmonious, and then find the windows that fit that house that we're going to look at.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. When would you like to come back?
What about the demo evaluation?
I can handle that.
We'll do that.
On the demo, the build date for the house is 1974. So I'm going to move that we not pursue landmarking for 126 Meadowmere. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So get that part done for you.
Okay.
Okay? And what happens is if it doesn't qualify, if we don't think it qualifies for landmark house, that gives the building inspector, his next step is the ability to put a demo permit for the house. Okay? Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do
Do you want to come back in 2 weeks or in a month?
Huh?
1 second, I think we had someone from the public that wanted to say
Oh, sorry.
Well, we didn't adjourn yet, so come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Martha Reichert, Toomey Latham Shea, Kelly Dubin, and Cordovaro, 33 West 2nd Street. I represent several neighbors on Meadowmere Place. And
Can you give us the addresses?
sure, 70 Meadowmere Place, 44 Meadowmere Place, 63 Meadowmere Place, 31 Meadowmere Place, and 45 Meadowmere Place. And believe it or not, I'm not here to discuss really the architectural proposal, but mostly the concerns of these neighbors about the landscaping plan. Currently, what you have is a real hodgepodge. There's privet along Meadowmere Lane. There's a mix of newly planted arborvitae on Meadowmere Place and
There's
some
one gigantic hedge.
yeah, and if you look at the survey, you can see that it greatly encroaches past the property boundary and into Meadowmere Place. So one of the things that our clients have asked is that whatever landscaping that ends up being put in, especially around the perimeter, be brought back to the property line and create sort of a harmonious look. I have spoken with the applicant's agent, and they're very amenable to that. So I was happy to hear the board say that they want to see a landscaping plan. And we'll be back next time the application is before the board.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
That's
much.
what I thought.
So, how much time do you think you need?
July, what was it, 7th or 8th?
The 8th.
The 8th? That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment to July 8th for, when did I submit here?
Your dairy,
What's my address?
126.
Yes. For 126 Meadowmere. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you. Next up is 240 Little Plains Road to construct a open portico. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes, and yes.
Great. You can see Brian.
This is Zoom.
Brian again? There he is.
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes, we can. If you could introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Brian Brady from Brady Design. I'm the architect for 240 Little Plains.
Okay.
And let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that?
We can.
Yep.
Okay, so on the left is the existing house, which I designed in 2007. And on the right is a new portico that we're proposing. Very classical, very much in keeping with the style of the house. And basically, that's it. I mean, what we're doing is adding, it's basically 24 square feet here. You can see the materials here, and also I have, these are other porticos on the street. This is directly across the street from them, and these are other ones on the block that are there.
Okay. This is pretty straightforward. Board members?
And then I'll just note for the board that this did need a front yard setback variance, which you received the board's review.
We did, yes,
great.
exactly. Yep.
Actually, I think I saw that. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. And what's the depth?
3 feet.
3 feet.
It's 3.5 feet, yeah.
Okay.
The actual stoop is already there, so we're just adding this little section here, yeah.
Okay. And you're changing it to brick.
Changing.
Well, on the left it's white.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
this was original, it's already built, it's already brick.
It's already
yeah.
brick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is keeping with the Danish blend of the chimney, so.
Board members?
I'm fine with it. I think it's a gorgeous house, and I don't think you're deterring that in any way.
Yep. Good.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay.
Sounds like we're okay. Are there any comments from the public?
It's more than
Really?
okay,
Are you
Brian.
okay?
Yeah, Brian, it's a Brian design.
It's a handsome.
We designed the
portico.
house, so. No comments from the public? Okay, motion to accept the application for 240 Little Plains based on drawings stamped May 8th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so that brings us to 70 Layton Avenue, Dakota Partners LLC. Is there a second? I mean, do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes,
I knew
and
it's,
yes.
maybe it's something there. Okay.
You have some additional information. Sean Leonard, the architect for 70 Layton.
Here,
We can pass them down. You
we
have
can-
to
we can
walk
help you
around.
around. It's-
Gerrymandered place.
Okay.
So this has not been put in the file, is that correct, until tonight? You know, we like to have all the information, and I like to have all the information in the file before the meeting, so the public has a chance to see it, so.
There's no changes to the design.
Okay, thank you. Great.
I'll leave you the file, and I'll give you the details.
Okay. Probably easier if you took a seat so everyone can hear you, okay?
Could I just ask a question?
Yes.
So, are you rebuilding the front of this house, or restoring it, or what?
We are rebuilding the front of this house.
Okay.
So you're keeping the additional structure and then putting a addition.
No. We're
He's
we're
taking the whole thing down.
We're rebuilding
the structure.
So you're
New structure.
You're demoing it and building a house that looks just like it.
Correct.
Okay.
But longer.
It'll be longer, as well as right now the first floor of this house is quite high above grade. So in order for us to be able to get things, we're going to not raise the house, but lower the floor. So part of this whole thing would be that the first floor would just come down a little bit, so that when you walk from the street onto the porch, it wouldn't be so many steps up to the porch. It'd actually just be 2 steps up. As opposed to,
But the ridge line, you're saying is the same?
the ridge line's the same.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what we're looking to do. The other thing too, and I did bring a sample along, is we are looking to, as you can see, the house would get longer. We are, the front portion, including this gable here, this is right. You can even see in the existing house. We're looking to keep that same whole front portion of the house very similar to the way it is. So you'd have the same roof, and then you'd have the addition mostly to the back of the house there. We're looking to do it in a gray shingle, so it'd be wood shingle siding. It would be the natural cedar shingles that will be on the roof. The trim would all be white on the fascias. All of the moldings, I've taken copies of the moldings that are currently on the house right now. So we're looking to replicate the moldings that are there in the same scale. And, oh, sorry. And then lastly is to the all new windows, Marvin windows, wood, which would be painted black. So I actually gave you a picture of a house that's in the village there of the color scheme, just so that you had a good sense as to this very similar.
You showing us a white house with black windows?
No, actually, it's the same color. It's this shingle that's on it, this gray.
A gray house. Black
It's gray.
windows.
It's a light gray house.
We don't love black windows.
Okay. It's got white trim. It's in that packet as well.
Nope.
But you're saying, so these 2 elevations did,
So that's just for color. That's the existing house in your.
yeah, the rendering does not.
It's another
The rendering,
house.
when you keep printing it, it just not.
No, but I mean the shape, the geometry.
No, it's not the shape. It's just the color scheme. That's
so
all
it's
it's
just
for.
a color
Just
scheme
for color
reference.
only. To see you had an idea as to how the colors are coming together. Because the color drawing here just doesn't cover that together.
So, can I, it has 2 chimneys? Does the original one? It has 1 on there. Okay, thank you.
So one of the questions I have, and Alex, you may know the answer to this, but have you applied for a demolition permit?
Yes.
And has it been granted?
Yes.
It was reviewed by this board.
Yep.
It was, we did, okay.
We agreed not to with the landmark.
Right, but now are there historic elements in the house, either in terms of windows or things like that can be, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, sorry.
that can be salvaged, and not necessarily.
It doesn't look like it's in salvage.
No, it doesn't look like it's in
You know what?
shape.
If we agreed
Yes,
to landmark the house,
then we would
then I
have
think
done
in
that.
play. I don't
Okay.
think that comes into play here. I think
Okay. We're moving ahead.
from both the age, I don't think there's salvageable elements. I'm so excited the fact that they're building a house from the streetscape,
Yeah.
maintains the
It's
streetscape
very
on this
charming.
space. I'm
So
starting.
you get kudos for
Yeah.
that, Sean.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you think?
Okay.
Yeah.
And and it's a house with there's no balcony on the second floor.
No.
One of the concerns I have actually, this is a long piece of property. There's that odd barn that's down back to the left. But the screening between yourself and the neighbor to the east is about very short privet back there. I'm a little worried about, given the side and the sidewalls of this house and the privacy to that neighbor, is there any plans to increase the screening between these 2 properties on the east side?
Yeah.
Because right now it's not in good shape, but the screening that is there, it's not more than 4.5, 5 feet tall, I don't believe. That we saw today, I think it's, and I'm a little worried about neighbor privacy on that side.
And we've been speaking with the neighbors to the west, to the west of us.
Okay.
Who have the large green giants that separate and the fence there. And they're concerned as well, we're doing all this work to make sure that we don't do anything to harm those.
The people on the west side?
The west side.
Yeah, and there was one gap, and you'll fill the one gap that was in that screening. There's one gap by the pool that's about 4 feet wide that just needs a tree
Oh,
to help
okay.
those people. Okay.
So we've been speaking with them, and so we would do something not as large, but do some screening to the east.
Okay.
Yes, and as well as we would want to screen that large farm.
Yeah.
It's right up against your property line, is that correct?
It is.
Yeah.
That's why if you look at the site plan that I provided.
What, do you
The
know
bar- it's-
anything
it's-
about
it's
that
kinda cool.
thing?
Uh,
I don't know how to go look at it from the other side. I couldn't figure out where I was back there.
That was the reason. So we were going to just back the pool house, which would have the same
Oh.
architecture of the house, same roof line and materials, and that pool house would just run right along the side.
Okay.
On that.
Okay. Is there anything else we want to see on a landscaping plan for this?
I don't know how much landscaping you can do on this.
Well, mostly they're taking out because there's a bunch of scrub trees sort of down the middle of the backyard.
It was
Need-
rough
need some
back
help.
there.
I'm going to start by applauding you because I'm so excited the fact that you're building a house back that does not change the streetscape to the front. I will tell you that for me, the black windows is a non-starter. So I think if you can think of a different color scheme for those windows, black windows, just even for what you're doing, I think they contemporize it, and I don't think that is particularly harmonious with the street, but everything else is from my perspective. But let me turn it to the board.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you're doing such a good job of replacing, it's repair, restore, replace. All right, so you're not doing the first two, you can't do the first two, you're doing the third. So windows in kind as much as you can. So that would be white trim versus black.
So you'd rather see just the white window,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is what is in your original package.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but now you asked us to look at this, so we had to think.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. No. I.
Okay.
There
maybe
was a change upon looking at it saying could we have black windows with the original package that was already submitted to you already.
They were white. Yeah.
And that's a kind of, in the dilapidated thing that's there, kind of gentleness, I think, to the actual front that you never see. So, with white windows, that would be really good.
Yeah.
I also, I think that the window to wall ratio is nice.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
And the floor plans are very tight and well designed.
We're not allowed to talk about them. You
Oh.
can't,
But
Nina.
they are.
But they are.
But
You
you
can,
can compliment
Nina.
them.
Compliments are always accepted.
Compliments are always welcome.
But
Janie?
we're not supposed to know
Yeah,
what's in
thanks
there.
for keeping the land
Okay.
streetscape.
I
plan.
have nothing. It's fine.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public?
A hush fell over the land.
Okay. Do I stamp it on these plans? No, these were presented tonight. All right. So I'm going to move that we accept the plans, we accept the application, I gotta get this right, this is gonna be a tricky one, for 70 Layton, pending receipt of updated drawings that show the windows in white based on the drawings distributed at the meeting live on June the 10th. Is there a second?
Second, how about landscaping? Are we
Already
doing that?
white in your packet.
What?
Are they white in our packet?
Yeah, the original packet that you have.
But you submitted that, so.
So there are no other changes other than black
When was
windows?
that? I don't think I saw.
No, I think he's,
Oh,
hang on.
okay.
We might be able to go a little faster here.
The new plans weren't stamped in then?
Well, that's what I'm looking for, because then I have a stamp.
This wasn't stamped in, right? But there is, I don't have, I can't
See,
see the other.
do I have renderings of those? I have black and white drawings, but I have renderings.
That's all. It's just a black and white.
Okay.
It called out for white windows,
Okay.
white
What
trim.
I'm going to say is I'm going to approve it, but what I'd like you to do is just now that because you're putting this into the record, I'm going to approve it, but could you then submit an updated set of what you submitted tonight showing white windows?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
After that long motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, if you can just send them through to us.
Sure.
You don't have to take them, but just send them through to us. So what I have in the packet,
Matches.
because you submitted this tonight, there's not stamped date, drawings on it, so we have to go by what you put in tonight, and just correct them to our records pure.
I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Do you need me to come back at another meeting?
No, I need to we've approved the house pending receipt of drawings.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
we'll have it to you.
A miracle, huh?
Okay, next up is 36 Windmill Lane. Do we have affidavits? And I bet they're in order.
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
Shippies.
Is it weird that the audience is on the dark?
Yeah.
It's just
And it went
did
fast.
no one decide to turn the lights on out there? What happened?
Well, it's too late
Yeah,
now.
everyone's
Get
gonna
into
fall
it.
asleep back there.
All right.
That's the viewing gallery.
Okay.
Introduce yourself, Ray.
All right, good evening. My name is John Betts. I'm the owner of Shippy's Restaurant here in Southampton. And we are here today to share the next phase of the Shippy's evolution. Chairman McIntyre and esteemed members of the board, I want to take just a moment to thank you now that I have a public forum here for all the work you did last year with us. I mean, you guys really made a difference in terms of the colors, the tone, to make sure that we had a restaurant that fit the iconic nature of Southampton. And the windows were one of the most popular things, and I think that you guys made a big difference for us in that regard. Tonight, we're here to talk about the second phase. We've got one more after this, and we're calling this Shippy's 2.0. Lisa's going to walk you through this. Lisa Zolig, our architect. We're adding about 1,800 square feet, and she'll walk you through the dynamics of that. This is really about functionality at this point. We're trying to expand the area to make it easier for the employees to be able to satisfy our guests. We're moving our bathrooms. We're adding some more kitchen space, some more storage, and basically making it a more comfortable and enjoyable place to be. It gets very crowded on our busiest nights. You may know we've been communicating with the public over the last month or so, really to get the word out in terms of what we've been doing to try to get feedback from them, and we've had quite a bit of it so far, and so good from their standpoint. And hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be coming back again as we.
Is phase 3 the glass enclosure?
No, this is, yeah.
This is phase
No,
2.
this is, so I was just starting to say is, we do plan on coming back sometime in the near future to talk about the final phase, which would be the glass exposure.
Which was the beer garden.
The beer garden with a retractable roof.
Okay.
But we're working with Suffolk County right now in terms of the health department, septic, and the village with parking and that type. It's more complicated. This part's fairly straightforward, although there's lots of dynamics to it, and Lisa's going to walk you through that right now.
Okay, thanks.
Lisa Zaloga, I'm the architect for Shippy's. So, as John said, we have a proposed 1- and 2-story addition to Shippy's, which the addition would happen kind of behind where the beer garden is, in the space between Shippy's and Rotations, as well as the 1-story portion is located to the east of Shippy's, or the rear of the building, between the back of Shippy's and the 1-story garage that's on the property. So if you were to look at the streetscape, we have Shippy's. Here's where our addition is located, and then this is the Rotations building. So we're looking at a flat roof structure, very similar to the Shippy's that exists, as well as Rotations has that parapet on the front. You also have the firehouse across the street. You have almost all those buildings over there have flat roofs. So we're looking at a stucco building, the brick, similar to what's on the front of Shippy's. This addition is about 50 feet back off of the street, and it is slightly lower than the front parapet of Shippy's, about 1.5 feet lower. The addition on the rear, as well as the side that faces Rotations, which would be very difficult for anybody to see, but that's all stucco. That's all planned to stay stucco, not to be brick. It's just brick on that front. And as John said, there is a part 3, and so this brick wall, this lower brick wall here, will actually become interior when the beer garden, comes. But that's where we're at the moment. All the colors will match the existing Shippey's colors. And that's about it. Shippey's colors.
So is the current plan then, because right now you have outdoor seating, proud of where this
Correct.
is. Will that continue to be outdoor seating?
That's considered seasonal outdoor dining.
Okay.
Correct.
But because on the plan it shows now as a leaching field?
Maybe there's.
Yeah, there'll be we have to put drainage when we went to planning. We have to put drainage underneath that.
Oh, okay. That's how I was confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Board members.
I think the addition looks great, and I think it looks like, I don't know, it makes it more kind of village, like that funky, no offense, the funky little grass place that's been there forever. So I actually think it's quite handsome.
Thank you.
And appropriate. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I would agree that it looks great, it's subservient, and it matches the decor.
Great, yeah, it matches and the design and everything else. Just on the north elevation, that's just, that addition to the rear is just a one-story
Correct.
piece? Okay.
Correct.
And that butts up against the two-story piece or not? Or no, it's just a one-story extension?
It's just a one-story on the rear of the house. I mean, on the rear of the house.
It's John's house.
It is the house.
So the addition basically is L-shaped.
Right.
The portion that goes to the south towards rotations is the two-story portion.
Right.
Everything that's the back of that L is one story. So if you were actually looking at it from the road, it's really just the one story. You would not see any two-story, from the driveway.
So that extension's height to the garage.
Correct. In the back.
Okay.
Which is existing.
Okay, it's for storage and allows us to get to the kitchen area, which is at the bottom of that yellow area. Keeps it all inside.
Nina?
But the proposed addition, the two-story addition, extends to the rear and the east end of the one-story addition, or not?
Good job, Brooke. So this is the second floor plan. So this right here is Shippey's.
Yeah.
This is the second floor addition that goes towards rotation.
Yeah.
Everything to the rear
Okay,
is one
gotcha.
story.
Okay, got you. Okay, good. I think it looks nice. I like the carry over the treatment, and I think Mark talked about it.
I have one picky, I read the plan. When you look at the timbering in the pediment over the original structure, it is not straight across. There's a slight peak that goes to the center, and then it falls from left to right.
Oh, the
Yes, the peak, the center, when you look at the center of the timbering that's inside, it's actually shaped like this.
The horizontal piece.
Yeah, the horizontal piece
Yes.
is actually shaped like this.
Is mine not?
Yours does not. So
It is
I
now.
would like to see, if we're gonna do it, I'd like to see those. If we're trying to make them, I'd like to actually see you consider mirroring those.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
I agree. I think that the rendering is super helpful because it shows that it's not sort of up,
Oh, it's way
it's,
back.
it's way back. And the tree is beautiful. Your garden is a real success. I've been there. It's really a great place to have an outdoor casual bite. And but I guess an introduction of the beer garden, my one tiny little minor comment would be maybe make the brick some type of or use the walls for some type of planting or some, like a garden feeling of some sort.
Well, I think that's a great point, because when we put that retractable roof in. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go to the mic.
No, that's a great point, because when we put we enclose it, we put the retractable roof in, we want to keep the beer garden atmosphere type thing, so there will be plantings in there for sure. Points.
But we're just talking about this building now, right?
Yes, they have.
Yes.
they have
Yes.
come.
Yes.
They
Yes.
haven't come.
More to come.
Okay.
We just like coming back. So. Yeah. Oh.
You'll miss us. Are there any comments from the public?
While we wait for public comment, I'll note for the board that this is currently pending before the planning board for site plan review, as well as the zoning board of appeals for certain setback variances, as well as an expansion of a special exception use. But at this phase, we thought it was appropriate for the ARB to weigh in on the architecture and design. Yes, actually, now that there is a written decision from the zoning board, and it's currently pending for the planning board.
Wait, what?
Thank you.
Wait, what? I'm going back. What?
Wait, I have that.
All right. So, do I have any? Do I have any comment?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I have any comments from the public? Okay, so I'm going to do a motion to accept the application for 36 Windmill Lane from drawings dated. What's the stamp date on this? I don't know what the village stamp is. So, drawings dated 4/15/2024. Is there a second?
Was there a condition about that?
Yes. Pending the receipt of an updated drawing showing matching timbering in the pediments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So if you just want to do that and send it through to me.
Yep. You want hard copies? Or you want
Yes.
email too?
A hard copy for the chair's signature we would need for the file.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay. Did I finally do it? No, I have not filed it. Okay. All right. So that brings us to Daphne and Darren Brumsley at 141 Pulaski Street. Welcome back.
Ciulu Architect, we're Darren and Daphne
Do
from
me a
the
favor. Can you
141.
just pull that microphone closer. Thank you.
141 Pulaski Street.
Okay. Do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes and yes.
Great. Okay.
Okay, no. Start reading.
No.
So the current site plan, the current survey, there's a small house here. It's like a Cape Cod looking house.
Yep.
And the neighborhood is mixed, you know, some of them newer, bigger houses, some are smaller, like what it was before. So we're proposing to do a new house, demolish existing, put a new house here. New house in the middle and the garage all the way in the back. And swimming pool between the house and pool house. The driveway comes down to the garage. So that's the site plan. So you can skip the floor plans, I guess. Go straight to the elevation. So the front elevation is 3 gables, and we are going to do natural cedar, and the windows and doors we're gonna do cashmere. I have the color here on my iPad. Like this color.
Okay.
And this is the front. That's the driveway side with the side door to the mudroom. That's east side, and that's the rear elevation. And then on the last page, I have a small pool house and a two-car garage. So the garage has a hip roof, and the pool house
Is the same is the same person building this house as building the other house you were here for earlier?
Yes. It's similar.
Yeah, just the same person building both of your houses tonight?
No.
Because they look extremely similar. Okay. Okay.
What is the, which part?
I just think it's a tripartite
Yeah.
rhythm of the.
And the
The
dental
dental.
molding and the, yeah, okay.
The
Okay.
sliders, the glass.
People like it.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
why when you drive around, you'll see all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's a, yeah. Okay,
Oh, you know, if I have to lose a dental, I'll talk to the client.
no, it's just,
well, let's Just go through your whole plan, then we'll talk
Yeah,
about the whole house.
So that, I think I'm finished with, from back, rear, and the color of the roof. The color of the roof is cedar. I mean, the color of the windows and doors are gonna be just like
Can you hold that up so I'm seeing it? Okay, thank you.
That's the color of the what?
Cashmere.
But it's
Of
the
the
color of the
windows.
trim?
window trim.
And what's the black
Door.
swatch?
That's just
Oh,
another
no, this
one.
is from the catalog.
Oh, okay.
This is it, you choose the color.
I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
This
Sorry.
is a Marvin cashmere. You click the cashmere and come up, and this is the other color. Like picking a shoe on the online shopping.
Is this gonna be natural cedar wood?
So it actually will match very well with the cashmere.
I like the cashmere, actually.
Okay. Here's the site plan.
Yes, we
Yeah, I know, I've got it, just want to look at it. Okay.
I would say again that the north elevation is heavy on glass, and normally the south elevation should be heavier on glass for solar gain, for energy collection purposes, solar passive gain. If you have a lot of glass in the north, it's not gonna be a very well insulated house. So the house is gonna be really, leaking heat in the winter.
So no one's gonna live there in the winter.
Yeah.
I already know that.
Well, nowadays we have very insulated windows and doors. And
Here,
then
let's
we can
get
have
all the comments, okay?
And we can have triple pane if necessary.
Let's just get all the comments, then we can.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So some of my comments reflect what was alluded to just a few minutes ago, which there are elements here that are stylistic affectations and don't comport well to the harmony of this neighborhood. Now, granted, this is the east end of Pulaski Street, so there are newer houses there, and there is a mix. On the other hand, I have an issue with the three gables as opposed to either two or none. But yeah, I think three gables are a lot for that street. Also, again, although it's not as severe as the house you presented previously, but there still is a slope to a curve to the gables. Slight, but it's there. And then the dental somebody mentioned too. Again, it makes the house more fancier than I think is harmonious to the neighborhood. Granted, there are a number of different houses. And then in terms of the rear, yes, I agree with Nina. The window to wall ratio is excessive.
Jane?
Yeah, I would definitely agree about the rear. The window to wall ratio seems very excessive. Maybe consider on either side going to 3 rather than 4. And it just seems like a very grand house for Pulaski, and that may be due to the dental.
And then also I noticed the deck in the rear.
Huge.
Which is significant, and especially these are very narrow lots with very small houses. And I would like to see a streetscape when this is whatever you come back with.
I think you're hearing common themes.
Yeah.
When we start to over decorate houses, over detail houses, they lose their honesty. And I think like the dentals can go because they don't. It's too much. You've got 4 columns across the front porch, where 2 may work. I'm not sure about that. The borrowed history of the sloping curved lines of a house that's brand new doesn't really work. In the back, so I would straighten those out. I would lose the dental. Think about your column rhythm across the front. When I look at the back, I'm in agreement with everyone. It's the exact same issue we had with the other house. You've got massive amounts of glass across the back. And frankly, having walked that lot today, that about the second floor deck's got to be at least 50% smaller because the sight lines are just too tight there. You're looking straight down into a neighbor's backyard.
The window portico that we have in the back, that's what the client really wants.
But that may be, but
It's a north facing, and so they want
no.
more lights in.
No, look, when you look at the guidelines of the window to wall ratio, there's massive amounts of glass and you're overscaled exactly like you were in the other house. So I'm not going to tell you how to fix it, but you're going to have to bring it down. If you want us to approve a house, you're going to have to figure out how to bring it down, because we're not going to approve the all glass, especially in these narrow lots, and especially with the sidelines of privacy issues you have to the neighbors as narrow as these lots are. That's just sort of
I don't know if you get a HERS rating. I mean, that's a lot of glass facing north.
Are you even bother with that?
No.
There
So you've heard the comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Pardon?
Is it an evaluation? It just says demolition.
There's an existing house that's supposed to be demolished?
Yes.
There might have been a remission for the agenda. There is a demolition evaluation as part of this.
Okay.
There was an application for it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the board is aware so they can.
So where do,
So
there is
it's
one?
on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should.
I'm actually
there a
okay
piece of
with the
paper?
demo. I'd like to make that public.
What?
She doesn't
Good.
like the existing one.
I will
No, it's not that I don't like the existing
I motion that
house,
I
it's
motion that we will
She's
not
okay
pursue
with-
landmark status for 141 Pulaski Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you've heard all the issues about the house. When do you want to come back?
Let's do July.
Okay, July 8th? Does that work for you?
Or more?
Why don't we say July 8th? Why don't you say July 8th, and then if you need more time, you can tell.
Right.
Let's
Okay.
do July. 'Cause,
Okay, any other comments from the public? Anyone?
I need.
Okay. Okay, motion to accept the application for the applicant's request for adjournment for 141 Pulaski Street to July 8th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Can I have 2 minutes?
You may have 2 minutes.
May I?
Next up will be 79 Edward Lane. Do you have affidavits, and are they in order?
Yes.
Yeah, we can start.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay.
I did it. I mean, it's missing some info,
Okay.
but I did my best.
You can go ahead. Okay. If you'll state your name for me, sir.
Yes, my name is Vic Finoborgo, and I'm the owner of 79 Edwards Lane.
Okay.
And I want to get permission to build a portico over my front door.
Yep. Did you see your neighbor down the street do it the other day and you decided you needed one?
Yes. Only guy without one.
So we had
Only
that
one without
for the exact
pool,
same
only
request by
one-
somebody else on your street recently, yes. Okay, if you just want to take me quickly through color and materials?
The roof will match the existing roof, which is black.
Yep.
And the trim on the house is white, so there's 2 little columns will be white.
Okay.
And there's a side view, but the porch isn't closed in, it's open.
Okay. And Alex, he's got the depth from street that he doesn't need a variance?
Received a variance.
Received a variance already. Look how we're going on this. Okay. Board members?
Sorry I had to wait to the end.
Yeah. Board members?
I have no objections and I approve it wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, motion to accept the
Wait, wait.
application?
Public comment.
More?
Public comment.
I asked, sorry, any comments from the public?
Is there anybody left?
It's a lot of people
Take
clapping.
time. Motion to accept the application for 79 Edward Lane to construct a 32 square foot portico. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
You waited a long time.
Yeah, next time Vic's going to.
Yeah, we should have put him. Oh, that's just sad.
Okay, as we're winging through here,
Now we're into the driveway.
I
Right.
managed not to file my agenda, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that takes us to driveway gates, non-historic. The first one is 11 Squabble Lane.
Really?
That's what I have on the agenda.
Again, I don't know if he's here.
What?
Yeah, it's
That's the
Harry.
same application that wasn't here. Okay. Then I'm going to move forward to 82 Captain's Name for Eric Ruttenberg.
We have affidavits and they're in order.
Yay.
Wow.
Great.
Mark Cirillo from Autogate Systems, representing 82 Captain's Neck Lane for driveway gates.
This is non-historic, right?
It is non-historic, yes.
Thank you.
We have affidavits there.
Okay, good.
Anybody
Yeah.
got it?
Yeah, I'm not.
Did you have paper?
It's been around for a while,
okay.
that's why we didn't just come
Oh,
out.
it's been the sign.
Eight-
Okay.
it-
Do you want to go ahead and present it?
April.
Oh, okay.
Could you put, do you have the, we don't know what.
Oh, okay.
You don't have anything?
What are your? Do you have it on your
Do you
computer?
have anything?
Yeah. See if you
I'll
can
bring
just.
it over here.
I actually have it because it came up quite a while
A
ago.
while ago. Because I don't think it was properly noticed the first time.
Yes, exactly.
It was distributed with the materials for the last meeting.
Right.
There was a notice issue.
There was a notice issue with it. Yeah.
I got it. Last time. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Oh. Look at that. I've got it. Do you have it? Okay.
It's pre-existing.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go back.
Take us through it.
Okay.
You can sit there and use the mic.
So the existing driveway leads into a large property. There's 5 parcels on the property and 3 homes, all the same owner. The current opening between the existing brick columns is 22 feet 6 inches. I want to bring the gates in, narrow it, and set the gates back from the existing brick columns. Those columns are going to remain. I don't know how old they are, but they wouldn't support gates anyway. And it puts the location of the gates from the street at 28 feet.
Oh.
Set back.
Okay.
So the gates are steel frames that are clad all around in cedar, western red cedar, natural finish. Where we are now, we're at over 41% daylight spacing. The gates will max out at 6 feet high. I have some photographs of the entrance as well. There's an existing cedar fence that's similar. It just, and with a walk gate, but there's more paneling. That's a bit more opaque. So what we did was we eliminated the paneling, and the reason for the intermediate pickets along the bottom is the owner wants to keep their dogs in.
Okay.
So at the same time, many people mistake their driveway as a road. So their driveway is as wide as many of the crossroads on Captain's Neck. And the traffic of turnarounds and Amazon and things like that is unbelievable. So this is where we're at.
So.
Which is only makes people idiotic
I
because
don't
there's
feel
a
that's
cattle
how-
guard there.
But
I'm sorry?
It is a big property though.
Yeah.
It's humongous.
It's
What color is the gate?
Natural cedar.
All the way. Okay. Anything else? And what's the mechanism for it?
Mechanism as in gate operator or,
Yeah.
or access control?
Access control.
Access control will be a surface mounted keypad on the existing column.
Okay.
On the brick column that's out
on the
there.
outside place, on the back, on the front.
On the existing column facing the driveway.
So it's a column mounted keypad.
Right.
Or
Oh,
control.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 9 feet between the proposed gate location and those existing brick piers.
Right.
So I'm just curious, Mark, how are you going to architecturally or design-wise marry the existing brick columns, which are beautiful, to the new column? Is there going to be some sort of transition or greenery?
Just by privet. There's existing privet there now, and they want to thicken it up.
Yeah.
So, because they won't walk through this gate, they have a pedestrian gate, that old pedestrian gate that's to the north side of the driveway, and they'll continue to use that. Landscapers continue to use that.
Yeah.
So the privet will connect. To answer your question exactly, the privet will connect or is connecting.
Okay. Board members?
I'm fine with it.
Me too.
Good.
Any comments from the public? Motion to accept the application for gate application for 82 Captain's Neck Lane from drawings dated 3/29/24. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close the June 10th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.